Let's go, boys. Minecraft when? Pogo. Three. Is this where the out loud messages go? Happy 4 months, Pogu. Has comrade, 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 has comrade. best show today, can't wait. Hey chat, I just want to tell you that you look extra cute today. I love you. Stay classy, kings and queens. Hasri.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hasan Piker, and this is the HasanAbi broadcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles. Folks, boys, girls, MBs, we are live and alive, and I'm just going to go right into it. I'm sorry that I'm late. I've been playing Rust in the morning because I was trying to build a garage and also a power grid, a separate power grid for that garage, for my place there. So, unfortunately, that's precisely why I was late. Yes, I admit there's an impeachment going on, but that's what I was doing because I'm a fucking addict, okay? So let's just go right into the impeachment. The House is currently debating the impeachment of President Donald Trump.
The gentleman from Florida is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Y'all don't need me. You were watching this shit in my chat anyway earlier.
Thousands broke the law by taking siege of our Capitol here with us inside. Has any one of those individuals who brought violence on this Capitol been brought here to answer whether they did that because of our president?
What's going on? Okay, I got heated.
It appears I will receive no answer. I will yield my time back to the gentleman from Ohio.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve his time. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Did my man just get Donald? Holy shit. Oh my God. Okay, I need to stop.
I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Stanton.
The gentleman from Arizona is recognized for 30 seconds.
Donald Trump is the first president in the history of this republic
sick.
To incite a violent insurrection against our own government, against our own people. It is a shocking betrayal of his oath of office and our American values. We don't know yet if the president will face criminal charges
Hey,
but we do
Hasan,
know
I
he
once
must be
again
held
say
to
it's a very
account.
cool stream, and
Each
thank
one
you
of
for
us
doing
in
it
this
for me.
House took an oath to protect and defend our Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, even if that enemy is the president. We must move forward as a nation from these darkest days, but we can't move forward without accountability.
The gentleman's
We
time
must impeach
has
this
expired.
president. I yield back.
The gentleman from New York reserves, and the gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Madam Chair, we reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentlelady from Michigan, Ms. Stevens.
The gentlewoman from Michigan is recognized for 30 seconds.
Insurrection, a violent mob.
Hasan?
A week
Hasan?
ago today, 5 people were killed, many injured, and everyone in this building forced to hide for their very life. The president was called for help, but he did not answer our call while our government was being taken over. He failed to lead and therefore proved himself incapable of doing so. Some may say impeachment is political. Some may cry it is divisive. But, Madam Speaker, our obligation
The
to our
gentlewoman's time has
Constitution
expired.
is
The
anything
time's
but.
expired. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio.
Madam Speaker, we reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield 30 seconds to the gentleman from California, Mr. Takano.
The gentleman from California is recognized.
None of these people are gentle. I object. Oh my
Today in
God.
support of the impeachment of President Donald Trump. The gravity of the moment demands it,
I
and the
get
fate
to
of our
write this
republic
message.
depends on it.
Happy 3 months
He committed
old,
an
should be
impeachable
grounds
offense
for
by
impeachment.
inciting a violent
Glad
and
what
deadly
we must do, I
insurrection
guess,
at the
has.
U.S. Capitol. For this, Congress must hold him accountable to preserve our democracy, our Constitution, and the rule of law. He should serve not 1 minute more and be barred forever from public office. He is toxic to our republic and
true.
toxic to our democracy. I yield back.
Gentleman
It's
yields
kind
back.
of
The
wild
gentleman from New
that
York
like
wishes to
this is
reserve.
even a
The
conversation.
gentleman
You
from
know what I
Ohio
mean?
is recognized.
Like it's wild that Republicans are like trying to make a counter to this. Like the president did straight up lead an insurrection. Like how are we even discussing whether he should be impeached or not? The more they say it, the more I'm recognizing how
Impeach the President
stupid
of
it
the
is.
United States for saying peacefully and patriotically, make your voices heard. Democrats can say, quote, you know, there needs to be unrest in the streets while there is unrest in the streets. But they're going to impeach the president for saying peacefully and patriotically, make your voices heard. Let's be consistent, all of us. All of us need to be consistent and condemn the violence all the time. And with that, I yield 1 minute to the gentlelady from New Mexico.
The gentlewoman from New Mexico is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam
Thanks for the
Speaker.
7 months
I
of
rise in
content
opposition
level
to
up
these
since I
articles of
started watching.
impeachment. Political violence has no place in our constitutional republic, and those who assaulted police officers and forced their way into the Capitol are responsible for their criminal actions. Leaders in both parties have a
fucking
responsibility to condemn such violence,
knee keeps
whether in the
hitting the
halls of
light
Congress
switch and
or in the streets of
throwing it
America.
off.
I don't believe, Madam Speaker, that the American people have an appetite for
Dum-dum,
this.
give me dum-dum.
They are expecting us to do the will of them, those who sent us from each state around the nation. Right now, Madam Speaker, we've seen this body impeach once before, trying to do it a second time. 2 wrongs do not make a right. We have got to stand for the American people because we will not get a second chance to get this right the first time.
Happy 6
Madam
months,
Speaker, I
Hasan,
yield
and
back.
Thank you for
The
everything.
gentlewoman yields back. The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve.
We do. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to a new member, the distinguished gentleman from New York, Mr. Torres.
Gentleman from New York is recognized for 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, the dangerous mob that Donald Trump unleashed on the United States Capitol represents a violent assault on the separation of powers and on the peaceful transfer of power that we have long taken for granted. The impeachment of Donald Trump is not politics but law, not passion but reason, not vengeance but justice. And we as the people's representatives must rise to the challenge of defending democracy in the face of its gravest threat, and we will I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We reserve.
Impeach this
Gentleman
man
from
already.
Ohio reserves. The gentleman from New York is
Madam
recognized.
Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentlelady from Massachusetts, Ms. Tran.
The gentlewoman from Massachusetts is recognized for 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, I stand before you today in disbelief. Disbelief that after the president incited a violent mob to commit an act of insurrection and remained silent as police officers were assaulted, the Capitol was ransacked, and members of this body fled for their lives, that there are still members of his party who refuse to hold him accountable. It's because of that inaction that there is only one path forward to put an end to this presidency. Donald Trump must be impeached, removed from office, and barred from ever holding the office of the presidency again. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield back.
The gentlewoman yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves his time. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio reserves his time. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentlelady from New York, Ms. Velasquez.
The gentlewoman from New York is recognized for 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, I rise in support of this resolution because in America, we hold power to account. In America, we do not succumb to violent insurrections incited by a head of state. In America, we do not turn a blind eye to high crimes and misdemeanors. No, that is not who we are. So today, as a sworn defender of this nation's
could have fooled me, lady.
I will vote in favor of impeaching Donald J. Trump. I yield back.
The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Could I again inquire the time remaining for each side?
The gentleman has 10 minutes remaining, and the gentleman for New York has 9 3/4 minutes remaining. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
I thank you, Madam Speaker. I would yield 1 minute to the gentleman from California, Mr. Malone.
The gentleman from California is recognized for 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second annual impeachment show extravaganza, brought to you by the censors and left-wing media, the fact-checked ministers of shutdown and big tech, and the Democrat Party. Today, the second annual impeachment of President Trump isn't really about actual words spoken out of rally. No, this is all about, Madam Speaker, the unbridled hatred of this president. You use any extreme language and any process to oppose the core of what he has really fought for. You hate him because he is pro-life, strongest ever. You hate him for fighting for the freedom of our religion to not be persecuted by unfair mandates and limitations on speech. You hate him for not subscribing and shackling us with the religion of climate change and one-sided Paris Accords. You hate him for Israel. You hate him for defending our borders. You hate him for letting families and small businesses keep what they earn, for trying to keep the agents of government off their back. You hate him for putting America first, which is what I thought we do when we swear the oath. No, this shabby show isn't about a threat to our republic.
Look at this used car dealer Andy, dude, with his fucking tilted lapel.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York.
What are you doing? I know,
20 seconds.
The gentleman from Ohio yields you another 20 seconds. 30.
I pray people of all stripes wake up to this spectacle and exercise their rights to put a stop to it through free speech and through fair elections.
Thanks,
I yield
Brother
back.
Hassel.
The gentleman yields back his time. The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Wasserman Schultz.
The gentleman from Florida is recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support the impeachment of President Donald J. Trump for seditious acts against America. To overturn the 2020 presidential election, Trump incited a violent assault on Congress.
Top of the hour, every hour. I'm going to run a 6-second ad break right now. Sorry.
Including a police officer, a desecrated Capitol, and a second constitutional crisis.
Actually, I'll just wait.
Show contempt for the rule of law.
I'll wait to the end of this hour. Never mind. I'm not going to run it.
Peaceful
Fuck it.
transition of power. President Trump is a clear and present danger to American lives and democracy, and he leaves us no choice but to immediately remove him from office. Thank you. I yield back.
Man, listen, stop linking me, Seth Abramson.
The gentleman from Ohio.
Seth Abramson is a charlatan, okay? Just because he has like a PhD or some shit doesn't mean that he's a legitimate person. He's a charlatan. Stop linking me his shit. He made his living off of like the Russiagate stuff by being like the #1 crazy person who like talks about how everything is Russia.
American people that this is a vote to impeach upon the grounds of inciting violence and insurrection, but the American people see a double standard. They see a standard implied to those on the left who commit violence, and they see a standard to those applied to the right who commit violence. The American people see this, and they understand it. I've been here all of 1 week, and what I see instead of lawmakers who are truth seekers, I see lawmakers who are power seekers. And that's never good, never good. What a shame, what a shame. The American people are watching to see how their elected officials respond at this moment in history. Will you vote to mend or will you vote to further divide this country? I'm urging you to use this opportunity to be the leaders the American people are seeking for such a time as this. God help us as a nation, and I pray that God will keep his hand upon the great nation.
Democrats should be on more on board with the stuff that happens on the ground as it pertains to police brutality, but they're not. And part of the reason, like, and considering the fact that they're not, implies that, like, you literally can't fucking say there's a both sides here. Like, you just can't.
1/4 minute.
You can't say both sides. Like, Nancy Pelosi isn't like burn down police precincts, go off sis.
Thank you.
All she does is put a fucking kente cloth on and say, we stand with you. That's it. Whereas Republicans literally are like, violence. We need violence in the streets. Blood for the blood god. They're like running around fucking.
Attack on our rule of law. Any president.
I mean, Rudy Giuliani literally said trial by combat. Donald Trump's very own campaign manager said that he wanted to cut off Anthony Fauci's head and put it on a pike.
How do my Republican colleagues expect ordinary citizens to respect and trust the courts in civil and criminal matters all across this country? Think about that as you make this decision. Vote yes.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Every Southerner in Congress literally sounds like an old-timey watch salesman or something.
30 seconds to the distinguished gentlelady from California.
I love the accents in Congress. It's one of my favorite parts.
For 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker,
this president needs to be impeached now. You hear?
President Trump. But this president has blood on his hands in the wake of this attempted coup. The fact remains no president of the United States is above the law, and this president badly violated his oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. As members of Congress who have taken that same pledge, it is our duty to take this action and impeach this unfit and dangerous president. I yield back.
Gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Madam Speaker, we reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
I hate this procedure shit.
To the gentleman from California, Mr. Kana.
The gentleman from California is recognized for 30 seconds.
Hey, it's Ro Khanna.
I'm voting to impeach because, as Lincoln said, no grievance is a fit object of redress by mob law. But we must recognize that our hard work begins to address the real grievances and despair in left-behind communities. To be worthy of this capital that we hold sacred, to fix our broken windows and broken communities, let's finally commit to investing trillions in creating good jobs in healthcare, in education, and infrastructure for communities and places that are hurting.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentlelady from Alabama, Missoula.
The gentlewoman, Missoula, is recognized for 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, I rise today to support impeachment. I do so with a heavy heart and a lasting and searing memory of being in this gallery, the People's House, right up there, fearing for my life. And why? Because the President of the United States incited others to be violent, a mob of insurgencies in this House. It's unacceptable. It led to the killing of 5 Americans. Blood is on this House. We must do something about it. I ask that we move from stopping the steal to healing, but healing requires accountability, and everyone must be accountable. Who is it?
Gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve.
To vote for impeachment.
The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve.
Reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I would yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Moore.
The gentleman from Alabama is
I
recognized.
got 2 mouses, but it won't fucking.
Madam Speaker, I'm fairly new here. Actually, this is my first full
charge.
speech.
It's annoying.
But I rise to oppose this impeachment. You know, I asked my staff this morning, I said, how many times in our nation's history have we impeached a president? Well, they said up until this president, only 2 times in our nation's history. So here we are, 7 days left in his first term, and we're going to impeach a president for what reasons?
What?
For what reasons? There have been no hearings. There have been no committees. We must defend the right and protect the process of impeachment. If we pursue this, from now on, from this day forward, impeachment will always be a political process. I ask my friends across the aisle, they always talk about healing. Healing. How do we come together as a nation? Since 2016, there has been hashtags going around in our nation that said, not our president. Resist, resist.
These motherfuckers want to get the healing crystals out, bro. Yet, like last week, your constituents were over here trying to fucking kidnap Nancy Pelosi with flex cuffs, you fucking motherfucker. Are you insane? You can't just bust out the fucking shungite and be like, let's fucking kumbaya around the fire. We need to unite this nation. A unification must happen, but it will happen once there are repercussions for the violent actions and those who agitated those people to take such violent fucking actions.
Of our democracy. I have now taken the oath of office, the same oath of office that the President of the United States has taken, that all of us here have taken, and he has been the orchestrator of this attack. It is time to hold this president accountable. It is time, and history demands that we impeach.
The gentlewoman's
Donald
time has
Trump for the
expired.
second
The
time.
gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We would reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield 30 seconds to the gentleman from Connecticut, Mr. Himes.
The gentleman from Connecticut is recognized for 30 seconds.
The words have almost all been said. Search your soul, consider your oath. And I add 4 more words. Reflect on your legacy. My friends, which way is history flowing right now? Will Donald Trump join the pantheon of Washington, Lincoln, Roosevelt, and Reagan? Or will his 33% approval ratings and the condemnation of principled Republicans consign him to the heap of reviled demagogues with Joseph McCarthy and Andrew Johnson? Where he goes in history, you go in history. Unless today you make a stand. I yield back.
Impeachment day, guys. They want witnesses, BC.
I would like to remind members to please direct their remarks to the chair.
When the whole thing was live streamed.
The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We reserve.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentleman from Hawaii, Mr. Carolan.
The gentleman from Hawaii is recognized for 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, as a member of our armed forces, now a member of Congress, I have taken and given the oath of office many times. I will support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. On January 6th, the President violated this oath, inciting violent and deadly insurrection. Our sacred oaths are hollow without accountability. We must hold this president accountable, remove him from office, ensure he can never hold public office again. I urge my colleagues to do the same. This oath has to matter. Mahalo, and I yield back.
New York. Recognized. The gentleman from Ohio reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
The gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Sarbanes.
The gentleman from Maryland is recognized for 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, this beautiful Capitol dome is a symbol
of freedom and democracy, not just for Americans, but for people the world over. The action we take today, this impeachment, is a declaration to the world that when there is an attack on our democracy, whether it comes from without or whether tragically in this instance it comes from within, we will respond to that threat and attack, and we will do what's necessary to strengthen our democracy. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield 2.5 minutes to the distinguished gentleman from New York, Mr. Zeldin.
The gentleman from New York is recognized for 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am sickened and angered by what we all had to witness last Wednesday and call for the investigation and prosecution to the fullest extent of the law, every single person who participated in the violence and loss of life in this Capitol building last Wednesday. I, as a member, sit here listening to the entire debate, desperately need to better understand the two standards that are at play in this House. Why is it okay if a House Democrat calls for violence in the streets, but not if you're a Republican? Why can a House Democrat be rewarded with a gavel and a chairmanship if they're calling for physical confrontation of a Trump administration official, but they will be punished if they're a Republican? The double standards that we have seen time and time again, I need to better understand what the rules are of this House. Why is it that a committee chairman can lie to the American public about having more than circumstantial evidence that the president colluded with the Russians in order to win the 2016 election, but of course the Republicans can't and wouldn't lie to the American public about something like that? We need to better understand what these two standards are that are at play and to complete the record. Because the House Democrats are here to make President Trump the first president to have been impeached twice. So I'll complete the record. First off, in the articles of impeachment, it's written that the president gave a speech and he told his supporters to come here and that he incited this riot. And one speaker after another here on the other side of the aisle have repeated that in the article of impeachment. But we all know that this was a pre-planned attack. We all know that there was pipe bombs being discovered while the president was speaking. We all know that the Capitol perimeter was being breached during the president's speech. We know that this was pre-planned and it started while the president was speaking. Why is that not in the articles of impeachment? Why is that not being incorporated into my colleagues' remarks? To complete the record, if you want to make the president the first president to be impeached twice, well, we'll add something else to that. Thank you to the president for his efforts to defeat MS-13 in my district or to withdraw from the... Request 30 more seconds.
Fired. The gentleman yields an additional 30 seconds. Did I hear correct?
Yes.
The gentleman has another 30 seconds.
Thank you to the president for his efforts to move the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem and recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights and to take out Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi and Qasem Soleimani, to eliminate the ISIS caliphate, to enter into the historic Abraham Accords.
Dude, we're the dumbest country. We're a hog nation run by violent hogs, and we literally deserve all the bad things that are happening to us.
The president leaves 1 week
if
from today,
these are our elected, I'm fucking muting this. If these are our elected representatives and they are representing the interests of the American people, like, it just makes me, it disgusts me. It's like, oh, well, you can't impeach the president, that'll hurt his feelings. And also, he moved the embassy, the Israeli embassy to Jerusalem.
I now yield 30 seconds to
okay, so what?
Mr. Caston.
So what? What a fucking psychotic take.
Wrong is written in Lincoln's second inaugural when one party would make war rather than let the nation survive. On December 7th, on September 11th, we came together against an enemy from without, but on January 6th, we were attacked by an enemy from within, the president who would make war with malice for all and charity for none. We must come together in unity today against that domestic threat to our Constitution. The alternative is too unbearable to contemplate. We must impeach, bipartisanly, unanimously, if you have the soul.
The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve.
I hate this.
From Ohio is recognized.
When I see Republicans, I hate that we got to share a country with these Republicans, man. It's so terrible.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Fletcher.
The gentlewoman from Texas is recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in support of the article of impeachment and in opposition to the gaslighting that is masquerading as debate in this chamber today. I was in this chamber when the president assembled and unleashed a mob to attack the United States Capitol and the United States Congress, the elected representatives of the people. By doing so, he incited an insurrection against our representative democracy itself. If that is not an impeachable offense, then what is? Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield back.
The gentlewoman yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Madam Speaker, we reserve.
Gentleman from Ohio wishes to reserve. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
I now yield 30 seconds to the distinguished gentlelady from Michigan, Ms. Tlaib.
The gentlewoman from Michigan is recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In Michigan's 13th, we proudly speak truth to power, even in the face of a racist in chief. Those who incited an attack on the People's House do not get to talk about healing and unity. They have torn this country apart.
Right.
4 months
They have stoked the fire and then handed the gasoline to Donald Trump. Dr. King once said, "True peace is not merely the absence of tension. It is in the presence of justice." Today, we must embody those words, and we must understand that peace must be centered in truth and action. We cannot sit, Madam Chair, sit idly by after a violent attempted coup and allow lies and hate to continue. Today, we stand up for our constituents who continue to be harmed by this oppression.
Wishes to reserve. The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Donald Trump.
The gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York wishes to reserve. And the gentleman from New York has 3 3/4 minutes remaining. From Ohio has 4. And the gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from North Dakota, Mr. Armstrong.
The gentleman from North Dakota is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. What happened last Wednesday is an absolute tragedy. And not only are we part of dealing with it now, we were part of it then. But when emotions are frayed and tensions are this high, process matters more. It matters more now than it did before. And the reality is this: there are serious constitutional questions about these articles. And Donald Trump is going to be president until January 20th. And on January 20th, Joe Biden's going to become president. But I'll end with this. I'm going to vote against impeachment, and that's going to give me credibility at home with my base. You're going to vote for impeachment, and that's going to give you credibility at home with your base. It's easy to point at me and blame me. It's easy for me to point at you and blame you. But on January 21st, we're all going to be back here. So use that credibility. Go back and talk some hard truths to your people. I'm going to do it, and we need to do a better job. And with that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves. Excuse me, the gentleman from Ohio reserves. The gentleman from New York.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the
My favorite is when people are like, we can't do the right thing because we have hogs as our constituents, and they will punish us.
Lied to the American people about his election.
It's like, bitch, if you know better, then what the fuck are you saying? Like, you should quit your job then, I guess? Like, be a good leader.
To derail the peaceful transition of power were a violation of his oath of office.
It's like, I need to do the wrong thing because my hogs want me to do the wrong thing.
I call upon my Republican colleagues to speak the
At least he
truth to their
admits it?
supporters.
I don't get it.
And join me in holding President Trump accountable by voting to impeach. I yield.
New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield 30 seconds to the gentleman from Indiana, Mr. Mervan.
I didn't hear where it was from. The gentleman from Indiana is recognized for 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, since the events on January 6th, I spoke with a group of ministers from Gary, Indiana, and they told me how they are praying for unity and justice in our nation. It reminded me of the moment when those of us who were on the House floor on January 6th were huddled together in a secure room after the attack. The House chaplain, Kiblin, led us all in prayer. Let us remember that moment. Let us rekindle that prayer for those 3 minutes when we were all united to preserve our democracy and justice. I support the article of impeachment so that we can move forward to do the work that our constituents sent us here to do. With that, I yield back.
Has expired. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from New York has 2 3/4 minutes remaining. The gentleman from Ohio has 3. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Madam Speaker, we reserve.
Hasan.
The gentleman from Ohio reserved. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield 30 seconds to the gentleman from Massachusetts, Mr. Moulton.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized for 30 seconds.
2021
Madam Speaker, there are more troops right now in Washington, D.C. than in Afghanistan. And they are here to defend us against the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States and his mob. I would ask my colleagues to look at the faces of those young Americans defending democracy, defending us, and find an ounce of their courage to do the right thing, as several Republicans have, and take a tough vote for the future of democracy.
The troops is like a cheat
for
code.
The future of our
The
country.
You know how like vegans have cashew butter?
Wishes to reserve. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Like if you're a vegan and you're like, oh, I'm eating healthy, but then you cook everything with like cashew butter, like fuck you, that's a cheat code.
Madam Speaker, I yield 30 seconds to the gentleman from Texas.
Same with like being a politician.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized for 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, let's be clear about one thing. If we were on the eve of a Republican president being sworn in, and his Democratic predecessor had said the same thing that this president said, and incited his followers, his mob, to descend up on the Capitol, we will be joining them, not making comparisons, because guess what? I don't care about no base. I care about this democracy and this country. And what happened the other day should never happen again. And we need to stand up and say and do the right thing.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Madam Speaker, the Republican whip is prepared to close for us whenever that is appropriate, so we'll reserve until that's time.
The gentleman reserves.
Madam Speaker,
the gentleman from New York.
I now yield 30 seconds to the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Jackson Lee.
The gentlewoman from Texas is recognized for 30 seconds.
I was on that floor just 1 week ago, and so today the insurrectionist-in-chief will be impeached for insurrection. It is because he failed to defend this nation against all enemies, domestic and foreign, and he stood down near the White House and told a mob of domestic terrorists to go and show your strength, be strong. You can't gain anything because of weakness. We must hold him accountable. We can heal this nation, but he must be impeached today. We must impeach Donald J. Trump as an
Gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. We reserve.
The gentleman from Ohio continues to reserve. The gentleman from
Sorry,
New
I
York.
had to do some things. I
had
to put the shroud mouse on the wire, boys.
Yes.
Then.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Yes.
I yield
the
3
gentleman
minutes.
from Ohio.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield 3 minutes to the Republican whip, the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise.
The gentleman from Louisiana is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank the gentleman from Ohio for yielding. Madam Speaker, our nation still mourns the unacceptable violence and anarchy that took place in this Capitol last week. As we speak, arrests are still being made, and the anarchists who stormed our Capitol are being brought to justice, as should be the case. Emotions are still high, but in this moment, we need to be focused on toning down the rhetoric.
Oh my God.
And helping heal this nation as we move towards a peaceful transition of power to President-elect Joe Biden next week. My prayers, Madam Speaker, are still with Capitol Police Officer Sieknick and Liebengood.
who we lost.
Steven, I'm David Duke without the baggage Scalise, baby.
Police officers who risked their lives to keep us safe. They are true heroes, and they deserve all of our applause today.
I mean, one of them literally saved his ass. And by literally, I mean literally. I don't mean figuratively. Literally saved his ass. He got shot in the butt at the congressional baseball game. And Capitol Hill police actually unironically saved his ass.
Madam Speaker, I've seen the dark evil of political violence firsthand.
By the way, I'm sorry. Let me just actually I'll wait for him to finish and then I'll
need to be unequivocal in calling it out.
Capitol Hill police are not fucking heroes, okay? They're horrible.
From the other side of the aisle. I oppose this rush to
They're literally
impeachment
famous for beating the shit out of disabled activists and veterans
by the way,
and shit.
The Senate will not even take this up until President Trump is out of office.
They're fucking horrible, dude.
So let's keep that in mind. It will only serve to further divide a nation that is calling out for healing. Madam Speaker, many speakers today have invoked one of our nation's greatest leaders, President Abraham Lincoln. Maybe we should follow some of Lincoln's wisdom that he's imparted upon us in moments like this.
Trump person and why is he
As Abraham Lincoln was giving his second inaugural address in March of 1865, Lincoln issued us a challenge. This is what he said. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all our nations. Madam Speaker, in times like these, let us not reach out to our darkest demons, but instead, like Lincoln, seek the higher ground. May God bless this great United States of America. I yield back.
The gentleman from New York is recognized.
And the Speaker, we can have all this, but we have accountability too. I now yield our remaining time, 1 minute, to the distinguished Majority Leader of the House, Mr. Hoyer.
The majority of the leaders recognized for 1 minute.
Hassel.
I thank the chairman for yielding. This is a troubled time, a sad time.
Hassel.
It is a time where all of us have stood almost to a person and lamented the violence and the assault on this Capitol and the assault on democracy itself. It was right to do that. But this impeachment ought to be put in the perspective of what the Republican chair of the Republican conference said it was. She said the President of the United States summoned the mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame.
Bro,
of
he
that
out here
attack.
dying, bro. And I'm running at top of the hour every hour right now. Before this,
she said.
All right, I'm running an ad right now.
A greater betrayal by a president of the United States of this office, of his office.
My man is dying while I run an ad. This is a quick time to run it. Top of the hour every hour, 6-second ad break. You already know what it is. If you want to avoid the ads, you can subscribe. You can use an ad blocker. You can subscribe for $5, or you can subscribe for free with your Twitch Prime. Or you can just, I don't know, if you have a VPN, you can like sign in from fucking Hungary or some shit. And there's not really any ads there. So here's the 1 minute ad. Okay, I'm taking a little break here from everything that's going on. It's not top of the hour, but I didn't run an hour. I didn't run an ad at 12, so I'm just running it. So This is over a minute? Yeah, well, it's fucking House Majority Leader.
What clown? Honka honka.
It's Steny Hoyer. It's that's why they're giving him more space. Can you please explain, speculate as to why the Republicans are reserving? Are they not prepared, or are they also waiting so they can have the last word? Also, a lot of chatters ask you to explain how the timer works and what reserving is. If every single person had unlimited speaking time, as though they, and I think you can get that in the Senate, then this would be chaos. So in order to move this process along,
Thanks for the
you
streams.
basically can pass off your time to someone else. I have to go back and forth with you guys. How about you reserve some bitches? Yeah. Or you can pass off your time to someone else by yielding. You can also reserve by refusing to speak. There's also, I mean, dude, you really don't want to fucking hear from every single person. Like they're making sure that, how many viewers do you think you can get without having them change your stream key? I don't know why.
As an analogy. That doesn't mean there haven't been demonstrations in Washington before and demonstrations throughout this country before. But it is
Might be the final
first
statement.
and only physical presence other than the 9/11 attack on this nation, which came from abroad and had a plane aimed at our Capitol dome. This attack was not from abroad. It was, as Liz Cheney said,
it's from a dude, not abroad, but a man.
Assembled.
Dudes rock.
And inflamed.
2021.
By the President of the United States of America, who in Liz Cheney said words that there has never been a greater betrayal by a President of the United States of his office and his oath to the Constitution. I pride myself as a member of this Congress who for 40 years has worked in a bipartisan fashion with many of your leaders, and do to this day. But are we to remain silent in the face of Liz Cheney's saying this was the greatest betrayal of the duty of the President of the United States in history?
Nice
Ew.
Are we to stand silent? Will we stand silent? Will we not stand up?
Bro, I would
and
literally
say,
rather hear Ja Rule's take than Liz Cheney's on this fucking impeachment. Like, I'm sorry. Yes,
Madam
Liz
Speaker,
Cheney's
for
Dick
4
Cheney's
years, Donald
daughter.
Trump has made no effort to hide his ambitions or his lacking of
How would
Republican
Liz Cheney
principles.
feel? Like, who gives a shit, dude? Shut up.
Not our principles, but the principles that Abraham Lincoln was just
Fucking
quoted
Dick
as having
Cheney's
said.
daughter, dude.
Your
Literally one of the
president,
worst modern
our
day
president,
monsters.
Has never displayed those in the 4 years he's been President of the United States. He has allowed little constraint on his worst inclinations. His desire for autocracy and his glorification of violence have not been tempered, but rationalized by those who sought to profit financially and politically from their proximity to power. Upon the foundations of virtue, reason, and patient wisdom laid down by George Washington as our first president, Donald Trump has constructed a glass palace of lies, fear-mongering, and sedition.
Hey Hasan, I'm sorry for asking, but as a Canadian, I have
Last Wednesday, on January 6th, the nation and the world watched it shatter to pieces. There can be no mistaking any longer the kind of man sitting in the Oval Office or his intentions and capabilities. The curtain has been pulled back. The office to which he was elected could not temper or reform him. Washington's legacy was passed down to us not as written decrees,
got my back into politics. As a
Mr.
kid, I
Speaker,
was
the
into
House is not in order.
when my grandpa died.
The gentleman's correct. The House will be in order.
For some good books to get. I am for now. Baby me.
The gentleman.
Washington's legacy was passed down to us not as written decrees, but understood norms. How we ought to act, how we ought to conduct ourselves. Term after term, each occupant has observed those norms out of a recognition that our Constitution's articles are not the only preservative of our democracy. For more than 2 centuries, Madam Speaker, whenever those norms were tested and strained, good and virtuous citizens on both sides of the aisle found common purpose in reaffirming those norms. But memory fades, and from time to time it must be refreshed. Madam Speaker, as the framers emerged from the Constitution Convention, Benjamin Franklin was asked whether they had made America a monarchy or a republic. Probably all of us know this response. A republic.
Hey, Alan,
He
I
answered,
just received my second jab of the Pfizer BioNTech
if
COVID vaccine today.
you can keep it.
Not sure if this is a side effect. I'm hearing grug reps in these debates
That's
where
the
they're
question
supporting
today.
the events last week. Shit, this stuff is strong.
We can keep it. And the way we keep it is to say no to actions and words that do not promote the keeping of that republic.
As a Canadian, I can't believe the amount of brain-dead hogs you have in Congress.
For millennia, people have understood that a republic is only as stable as, and lasting as the citizens and leaders who commit themselves to its upkeep. This president has shown us he's not committed to that project.
Guys, he's the fucking...
His tweets.
Oh, dude, this is so sleeper.
Every day.
He's the fucking majority leader. Like, he's gonna have the most, he's gonna have the most say. This is the last, this is the final fucking statement. It sucks because I can't stand these people, even when they're speaking for 30 seconds. Whether they're Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. Like, there's very few people that I like and I appreciate and I want to hear from. Ro Khanna is like at the end of that list. You know what I'm... Ro Khanna is at the end of the acceptable people list. It's like it ends with Ro Khanna, and it probably is like, you know, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Jamal Bowman, Cory Bush. Those are like at the top of the line, and then it ends at Ro Khanna, and that's it. Okay? No, Bernie's not here. We're talking about fucking House. Okay? Obama? Obama? What about Obama? It's like we're talking about the House, bitch. Chill.
We cannot erase.
Is AOC spoken? No, I don't think so. Pramila Jayapal, unfortunately, can't be there because she got fucking COVID. She literally got COVID. Katie Porter's another one I like.
Like Washington. Like Jefferson.
So this is always going to suck. It's a little sleeper. It's only fun when the Republicans say like psychotic shit regarding the only time if this following irregular House rules, then each side has half of the time allotted to the debate of the resolution in question, usually 1 hour total for special debate. And each side's ranking committee member manages time as he sees fit for their side. Members yield back to stop the clock. Did AOC speak? I don't know. I didn't see it. I know Cory Bush did. I think Cory Bush did. AOC says she doesn't want to go back to the Capitol.
Madam Speaker of our democracy, by reaffirming our commitment to the...
I want to hear from fucking BOEBERT. I want to hear that psychotic Colorado woman with the gun. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear from her.
Madam Speaker, we must rise to this moment and not only affirm the virtues we cherish, but reject.
Quick reverb fart sound effect.
That's what I'm
5 months, Poggies, I yield my time.
Why are you doing these things?
We all stood and we abhorred the violence that occurred and the threat to the very democracy.
That's like a fucking 2-year sub too.
Time to be alive.
To protect and uphold.
You know, I got 2-year subs in here who are like, Hasan, why aren't you talking about politics literally all the time? Hasan talks about politics, bro. Quick, check out this fat fart.
Tyranny.
Why aren't you talking about politics more? Hasan, you need to see this fart. It's crazy.
Fidelity to one's country. When I addressed the House during the debate over the articles of impeachment in December 2019, I said the following: we need not ask who will be the first to show our courage by standing
Cori
up
Bush,
to
President Bush is his daughter?
The question we must ask, who will be the last to find it? Senator
Is Cori Bush, President Bush is his daughter? Thanks,
a number of other representatives who have spoken on this floor with great courage, Madam Speaker.
Daughter. Yo, that was awesome.
Because there is much fear of Donald Trump. There's much fear of Donald Trump's tweets. There's much fear of Donald Trump's retribution for opposition. In my view, Donald Trump demands absolute loyalty and gives none in return. I hope others will join Liz Cheney. I hope others will be honest with themselves and with their constituents. As Liz Cheney was saying, there has never been a greater portrayal by a president of the United States of his office and his oath to the Constitution. Don't dismiss that. She's the daughter of a vice president of the United States.
Oh my God, who gives a fuck, dude?
Who was the whip when I came to Congress. As she has taken a stand, I hope others will as well, Madam Speaker. Soon, the clerk will call the roll and ask for our votes. Make no mistake, this will be no ordinary roll call. This is about our country, our Constitution, and our democracy. These votes will be inscribed on the roll of history, a record of courage and of our commitment to country and Constitution, of our commitment to the rule of law and renewal of that which we inherited and hope to pass on, unbroken, unshattered. With just 7 days left in the president's term, this vote is not about timing. It is about principle and fidelity to our Constitution. It concerns the clear and present danger facing our country, not only in these final days of the Trump administration, but in the weeks, months, and years that will follow. It is about the necessity to demonstrate to this generation and to future generations the duty we share to protect our democracy every single day. Do not pretend, my friends, that it was simply those who came into the Capitol, encouraged by our president to stop the steal at any cost. And by the way, if the vice president doesn't do my bidding and follows the Constitution, sweep him away.
Okay, this is boring as fuck. Here's some fun shit. There was QAnon crosstabs, okay? Favorability of QAnon. New crosstabs just dropped from the Economist YouGov poll, okay? And they asked, do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of QAnon among those who have heard of QAnon, okay? Amongst white folks, no degree. White men say very favorable. College grads say 3%. Where is it? Oh, this is very interesting. 41% say unfavorable Hispanic. 64% black say unfavorable. Or sorry, very unfavorable. Let's look at the somewhat favorable take. 18% of Hispanic people say they have a somewhat favorable take on QAnon, and 5% say they have a somewhat favorable take or very favorable take on QAnon. Now, this is literally what I fucking told you, okay? I'm sorry. I'm a fucking gloat, and I'm going to tell you, hey, guys, remember time and time again why Florida came out the way it did. What did I tell you? The same avenues of misinformation that was used for voter suppression literally became like conspiracy-laden QAnon platforms, and it actually had visibility within specifically in the Cuban community in Florida, but definitely in the Hispanic communities all around. Okay, but the Cubans are fucking literally shouldering that burden here. Okay, like Miami Hispanics or Florida Hispanics are straight up shouldering the burden. And there are Cubans in my audience right now. They'll probably tell you, if you're from fucking Florida, you know. It's crazy. It's crazy. And this is like, obviously, this is not the fault of Hispanic people on their own. Like, they didn't fucking they didn't decide in their own minds like they're going to believe in QAnon. It was deliberate. They hit that fucking, they hit those, they targeted those demographics on purpose. Now, the most insane shit is that younger people are into fucking QAnon. When you look at the 18 to 29 demographic, 22% say they have a somewhat favorable opinion of QAnon in the 18 to 29 demographic. That's the highest demographic of favorability out of all the age groups.
At HasanAbi Hassel.
18 and 29 are barely Zoomers, dude. I mean, come on. How crazy is that, dude? And then 30 to 44 is the second highest. This is really troublesome. Older people apparently fucking hate QAnon, though. Like, 45 to 64 are like, nope, not good. 53% of the 30. 35% only say very unfavorable. Looking at the income levels, 100K or more, boom, all of a sudden, 100K or more go to very unfavorable. But under 50K, you have somewhat favorable opinions. Under between 50 and 100K, you have it's like normal, I guess. I mean, it's not normal. This should be 0% very favorable regardless, but like, this is the black crosstab here is like what a normal country would look like. Okay? This doesn't, I'm not saying this like to make a statement about black people in America or white people in America or anything like that. I'm just simply saying, in a normal country, if we lived in a normal country and there was a conspiracy theory that revolved around every single politician that opposes Donald Trump being a pedophile, deep state vampire, and there are clones, and they like, including Mike Pence, has been cloned because of their pedophile crimes. They've been kidnapped and cloned, and now their clones are like, you know, operating in the government. Like, when you hear a conspiracy theory like that, it says like COVID is fake and whatnot. When you've heard about this, among those who have heard of QAnon, when you heard about a conspiracy theory like that, the crosstab should look, I mean, the percentage points should look like this. Very unfavorable. I mean, very favorable, 0%. Somewhat favorable, maybe like 2 or 1%. And then somewhat unfavorable to like very unfavorable. Okay? Anyway, we're back on the vote now.
Cheney would be these folks here. In fact, one of these ranking members, John Katkow, is already on the record for impeachment. And one other point here to just show you how unprecedented this is. There are already more members of the president's own party voting to impeach him than did Bill Clinton or Andrew Johnson. Savannah.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the folks speaking today, largely the true believers, Trump's most ardent supporters in the Congress. We want to go to Casey Hunt now, who's on the Hill for us. It was interesting to hear Kevin McCarthy, who is the the Republican leader in the House. And he seemed to try to walk a very fine line, didn't he?
He did, Savannah, and I think it reflects exactly what you were just talking about with Chuck, which is the division and frankly the deep sense of fear and anger that Republicans are feeling right now. Yes, Trump's hardest core supporters in the House have stood up today and defended him, but Kevin McCarthy, who is the leader of all Republicans in the House, he came up and he said that while I can't support impeachment, I will support censure of this president. And he also said very clearly that President Trump bears responsibility for this and that Joe Biden won the election. And while it's pretty remarkable that those two, or that last thing is something that's been hard for Republicans to say, it has been. And so making that declaration has become a line in the sand for Republicans. And the fact that it was the top Republican leader who went to the floor and made the speech that seemed most critical, perhaps, of President Trump, for someone who, of course, is not voting for impeachment, very notable and tells you just how divided things are here in the House. And remember, too, the House of Representatives has always been the place where you've seen the most pro-Trump Republicans in Washington come from. They are answering to constituents in districts where he is extremely popular. A couple of the newly elected members, frankly, are conspiracy theorists who have been involved in some of the types of thinking that ultimately motivated those groups to come to Washington. And that is part of why there's a lot of fear in the House of Representatives, why there are magnetometers now checking members who are heading down to the House floor. This, of course, once this is finished, it's going to move to the Senate. And the Senate has not
see what BOEBERT had to say.
typically as significantly a supportive place for President Trump. They have gone along with him at many turns. He has a couple hardcore supporters in the Senate. But as Chuck was alluding to, and you have been talking about, Mitch McConnell has signaled that he's pleased that this impeachment
cited sedition, and he uphold on the York Reserve.
Colorado.
The gentlewoman from Colorado is recognized for 1 minute.
Let's see what this freak had to say. Oh, I'm so excited.
Glory to God.
New hog unlocked, dude. I love hogs. I love them so much. They give me so much joy. They make me angry, but they also give me so much joy when I watch them. Marjorie Taylor Greene is another new hog that was unlocked. This is a tier 3 hog. Laura Boebert is a little bit more of a, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia is more of a real hog, and I think Lauren Boebert is like LARPing as a hog. Like, I feel like she's more on the hog aesthetics, you know what I mean? So let's take a look at what the hog aesthetics looks like versus what the real hogs like Marjorie Taylor Greene look like. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene, remember, he's literally a QAnon supporter, okay? So when we look at the crosstabs of like fucking QAnon support amongst the Republicans or whatever, Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of those people who is literally a QAnon supporter. So, woo, it gets me riled up. Okay. All right, it's top of the hour. I'm gonna run an ad right now, 6-second ad break, and then after that, we're gonna look at the Lauren Boebert sentiment, take, whatever. I already did an ad break, but I'm doing more ad breaks to fucking catch up to the lack of ads that I had originally. Because when I play fucking Rust, I keep forgetting to run ads. So my ad density needs to be at a 1 minute to 60 second. Didn't do the Irish accent. Sorry. I apologize. Okay. I think we're done. Is it done? Almost done. All right, let's get started.
Madam Speaker, I rise today to oppose this impeachment and denounce the recent violence on the Capitol, just as I oppose the previous impeachment and the violence we've all witnessed all summer long across our great country. Make no mistake here, the hypocrisy of the left is on full display. Quote, go to the Hill, get in the face of some Congress people. We've got to fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets. Take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Take him, go and take Trump out tonight.
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought you needed a gun and stuff. What happened? Like, that's great. You know, Republicans love talking about fucking blood on the streets, blood and soil, Jews will not replace us, you know, normal stuff that normal Republicans believe, right? And then they turn around and they're like, they said they want to beat us in the elections and I'm going to act like they meant like beat me senselessly in the streets. Ooh, yeah, dude, you're right. You're right, dude. These pussy ass ass Democrats are actually fucking agitating for violence. Sure, dude. Sure, dude.
Sound familiar? What about the gentlewoman from New York who defended the looting by saying looters just wanted loaves of bread? Well, the last I checked, Best Buy and Teslas and stores of the like do not produce baked goods. Where's the accountability for the left after encouraging and normalizing violence rather than actually helping American people?
By the way, wait, Teslas? They looted Teslas? Tesla doesn't, like, how are you going to loot a Tesla? What, did they bring hackers with them too? Like, did the rioters have hackers with them so they could fucking loot at the Tesla store and like make sure that they unlock the keys? All that shit is like literally in the computer system. You can't exactly fucking hotwire a Tesla. Yeah, I heard that they had net runners with them. Cyberpunk style, like Antifa like rolling in. There's like a guy who's like, all right, I'm in. We stole all the Teslas. Download the Teslas.
In this time, we start impeachments that further divide our country. I call bullcrap when I hear the Democrats demanding unity. Sadly, they are only unified in hate.
Fired.
Wait. Oh, when that was happening, she was like, today is 1776. Yet another perfect example of shit is fucking poggers when shit is fucking poggers. Absolutely poggers when I'm sowing. But it is so weird, champ, when I'm reaping, dude. It is Daniel's gaming when I am reaping. It's a shame she's so fucking dumb. She's kind of hot. No, she's not, dude. Wait, here is the insurrection prep group. My God, I cannot fathom this. Ugh, Anna Navarro. BOEBERT with her tour group reportedly on January 5th. One of these people has been charged already.
Hey, Bree.
Dude, what? Oh, that's awesome. It's literally her constituents, dude. And they're throwing up the 3%er militia sign, too. They're literally 3%er militia members. God, dude. Holy shit. It might be an old photo. It's probably not like giving them a tour. But the photo is probably not recent or whatever. No. The photo is probably not recent. She might have like gone there with her, but like these are clearly her fucking constituents now. You know what I mean? That's awesome. It's not guys. Guys, I'm not saying she gave a tour, but these are her constituents. Like very clearly, okay? Now they are her constituents. I'm not saying she gave him a fucking tour of the Congress or whatever. Don't listen to the dumb shit that Twitter is saying. What I'm simply stating is these are definitely her constituents. You understand? Like the hogs. I don't know if any of them actually got fucking arrested or whatever, but old doesn't mean it's fucking fake unless you mean like it's a deep fake. Like these are people who are now her like constituents. The people that she rolls with, the 3%ers that she went to Congress with beforehand, like. So that makes it even funnier when they say shit like. That makes it even funnier when they say shit like, "Oh well, guess what? Actually, these people were Antifa." Yeah, was BOEBERT Antifa? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Here is you've got a guy who said what he said. He said so after he was warned not to. Gabe Sterling, the Georgia official, on December 1st said, "Mr. President, don't say this kind of stuff. Stop it. Otherwise, someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get shot. Someone's going to get killed." That's what he said on December 1st. What did the president do? Kept saying the same nonsense and incitements. And so, you know, I don't know what process there is past the process that we've had.
Okay, well, we continue to keep our eye on this roll call vote. And if you're just tuning in, the House is in the midst of impeaching President Donald Trump for the second time. There are Republicans who are crossing the aisle for this vote. We have reports of 8 total so far that we know of who will join the Democrats who are united in voting to impeach him this afternoon. Lester will send it to you.
Yeah, we see 6 on that tally board right now, but of course that continues to change. Senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson is standing by right now. Hallie, I think everyone is watching that Republican number, and certainly Republicans in the Senate as they decide which way they want to go.
No kidding, Lester. Savannah mentioned the tally, as far as NBC News has confirmed, is up to 8 House Republicans now. And that is because just as we were talking and having this conversation during the vote, you had Ohio Republican Congressman Anthony Gonzalez, coming out saying that he feels compelled to support impeachment as well. You can see the statement there from Congressman Gonzalez. So you heard Chuck talk about the impact of Congresswoman Liz Cheney coming out supporting impeachment, what that meant. We are starting to see some of the impact of that now.
All right, okay, if I hear fucking Liz Cheney one more time, I'm gonna throw up everywhere, dude. I'm gonna get banned because of fucking evacuating bodily fluids in such a gross and violent way. Do you understand? Fuck Liz Cheney. All my homies hate Liz Cheney, and fuck the Democrats who keep bringing up Liz Cheney. Fuck Dick Cheney extra hard.
Hassle.
Goddamn, dude.
There's no whip effort that is happening. There is no big push to try to get House Republicans in line and on board with the president. One person that I spoke with pointed to, for example, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and said very sarcastically, boy, it looks like he has it handled, huh? You also have somebody who normally would be taking on some of that role, Vice President Mike Pence, who has consistently throughout the course of this administration leaned on his past, his relationships, his history with these members of Congress to be a liaison between the White House and between Capitol Hill. For very obvious reasons, that is not happening. Now, the vice president is continuing his public schedule. We now have word of a trip he's going to take to West Virginia later on this week. But he is certainly not that present on Capitol Hill with his relationship, at least is described to me by my sources, broken with President Trump. Sure, they spoke earlier this week. It was by most accounts cordial, perfectly normal, but certainly not the kind of meeting that they would have had, let's say, 6 weeks, 2 months ago, 3 years ago even. So the absence of any kind of impact or any kind of pressure from the White House, discussions from the White House, is notable. And I think that it is not to be missed.
Not to go to jail because he's going to get sick because his Wait, is that their defense? That he's facing charges, but he can't go to jail because he's going to get sick because his tummy hurts when he doesn't eat organic food?
And Adam Johnson, charged with absconding with Nancy Pelosi's lectern, posted $25,000 bail and walked out of court in flip-flops and shorts. He's a stay-at-home dad with 5 children and is married to a doctor.
Obviously, if we could...
Bro, these people are literally the bi-coastal elite soy boys that, first of all, that dude kind of looks like XQCs, is weird, but they are literally the bi-coastal soy boys that they were fucking claiming Democrats are. It's so weird, dude. It's so fucking weird to me that even that part of it was projection. Like, it's projection when Republicans say, oh, Democrats are really violent, like, you know, while simultaneously being like, we need to storm the halls of Congress. Like, that's pure projection. It's pure projection when they say dumb shit like, well, Democrats are the real racists. Like, no, you're the real racist, motherfucker. But I did not think that the one aesthetic thing that is so fundamentally important to your own personhood and your own personality was that you did not consume soy and you did not, like, you were a hardworking man and you weren't, like, cucked by your wife, who's a doctor, who's like, and you were a salt of the earth kind of guy who's like a union plumber or a union electrician. Turns out even that is a fucking falsehood. Okay? These are literal soy consuming stay-at-home dads, and there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with being a soy consuming stay-at-home dad. There's everything wrong with fucking storming the halls of Congress on your off day. You know, leave the kids with a fucking babysitter just so you can storm the halls of Congress. But there's nothing wrong with that unless you ask a Republican. And Republicans say that there is something wrong with being a fucking stay-at-home soy father. Turns out You're literally a stay-at-home soy dad. What the fuck?
President Dump has soiled the
These are the same motherfuckers who got like Wesleyan liberal arts degrees, right? And now are turning around and being like, liberal arts is gay. End college universities. It's like Steven Crowder to a T, who literally runs around and talks about how liberal arts is a sham. Meanwhile, that motherfucker doesn't even have a bachelor of sciences. He straight up has like a visual arts degree, I think. Or what is he? He's like a theater kid. He's literally a theater kid. He's a literal theater kid who acts like he's a STEM lord, dude. It's so bad.
Impeach Steny Hoyer.
Yeah, so to this soy dad, I gotta say, make me a goddamn sandwich, you son of a bitch. Holy shit.
Could turn back the clock. I suspect that he would.
So dumb, dude. Okay, chat. Chat, you could have posted this video on The Onion, and I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference.
I love when like normies in the political arena, like Normans like XQC, start to recognize certain trends in politics and how fucking insane it is from afar, where you're like, yo, American politics is like fucked up to a degree where like Republicans literally operate on a different playing field. Like they are just they are beyond satire. Like we have gone post irony. This is beyond satire. There is no way to target what Republicans do in a satirical capacity, which is why I think you guys find what I do so entertaining, because I just literally play it. I just hit play and I let you fucking watch Republicans be Republicans, and it's fucking delicious. It is. It's great. It's very fun. It's not so fun when they find out we're laughing at them and they decide to fucking storm the halls of Congress. But it's pretty funny regardless. Even then, it's pretty fucking funny. Oh, anyway, here's the vote.
He's not saying that now. There is no defense. The defense is this is a rush process. We've not heard a single substantive, really, defense of what the president did, just trashing Democrats for the riots from last summer. So again, just a really, really notable split, incredibly notable split based on the last couple of years that we could have upwards of 10, as many as 20 Republicans vote to impeach Donald Trump, and then it goes over to the Senate.
Yeah, and we're up to 9 now, just so you know, Jake. We just, our calculation is we've got 9 Republicans crossing over. So those are the numbers we're watching, Lester.
For the uninitiated, give us.
Yeah, Eugene, I want to ask you about what the end game here is, especially for Republicans, and what Mitch McConnell had reportedly said in some of the reporting leading up today. Is part of this getting him out of the game, erasing him from the Republican calculation going forward?
Well, I think that's what Mitch McConnell would like to do, and I think that's what a lot of Republicans would like to do. But other Republicans either would not want to do that, or don't think it's possible, or are afraid to try. I mean, the assumption, I think, is that Donald Trump is likely to have a lot of...
Okay, here's my analysis. This analysis is boring and wrong. Okay, so here's what the truth is. Are you ready? 1, Republicans are demons, okay? They understand that they partially have moral culpability for the actions that took place, and that Donald Trump is simply not the only cause of the problem, but instead just a symptom of the disease that the Republican Party has created and infected this country with for a very long time. So if they were to admit that Donald Trump is inciting a riot, well, then technically aren't you inciting a riot too? So of course they're not going to vote for Donald Trump to be impeached, because it kind of... It's like a bank robber being like, we need to be tough on bank robbers. And then, going, wait a minute. Oh, fuck, I'm a bank robber myself. Never mind. So that's part of the reason why they won't do it. Secondly, Donald Trump's power at this stage doesn't come from the fact that he is, the president of the Republican or the president of the United States and or a notable figure in the Republican Party. At this stage, Donald Trump's power comes from his stands, okay? Donald Trump is like a K-pop idol. Okay, he is like a very famous Twitch streamer. Like he is become a celebrity, and a celebrity with political power, and a celebrity with a fan base that will die for him. Okay, so a lot of these Republicans want to not get primaried, and they want to get reelected. And wait, Trump is live right now? Really? Where is he? Yeah, it's like having Corpse Husband as president. Do you know what I mean? Like having Donald Trump as president is like having Corpse Husband as president. Obviously, Corpse Husband is not a horrific demon like fucking Donald Trump, but you know, but if he were to use the power that he has over his stance for evil, he would kind of be like Donald Trump. Do you see what I'm saying? Like he could be like Donald Trump, except Donald Trump has 10x that power. So the point I'm trying to make is that's the reason why Republicans are apprehensive. Otherwise, it's an easy out for them, you know? It's an easy out for them to be like, yeah, Donald Trump was the bad guy, not me. He was the bad guy. He's the disease. We are just, you know, we were just unwilling participants. He was the one who was bad. We're good. And they could easily use this as an opportunity to distance themselves from Donald Trump. But they're not doing that because they know that it's not just Donald Trump as a singular figure. Donald Trump has 75 million people that voted for him. Donald Trump has fucking stands, brother. So what that means is those stands are going to go out and vote. They have created a kingmaker in the Republican Party that does not have an interest in the long-standing ideological goals of the Republican Party. Mitch McConnell is the exact opposite of Donald Trump in that way. Mitch McConnell will literally take a fucking bullet for the Republican Party. I don't know why, but his goals are to destroy this country, fundamentally undermine congressional power, dismantle that as best as you can, so, while simultaneously creating a system in which, like, there will never be a Democrat elected ever again, regardless of how many million more people vote for the Democrats, right? That's Mitch McConnell's goal. His goal is to, like, beef up the judiciary and just put as many demon Republicans in judicial appointments and in judgeships all around the country. Make sure the Supreme Court is like permanent fucking supermajority for Republicans and conservatives in general, and then slowly but surely undermine the power of Congress and allow the judicial branch to do their bidding whenever they want to. So that's what he does, and that's his long-standing ideological goal. Donald Trump doesn't care about it like that. He just cares about himself. So this creates a unique situation where Republicans are beholden to a kingmaker that they have created, a kingmaker in their own party that they have created, who is not beholden to them and is only loyal to himself. You understand? So that's where we're at now, and that's precisely why there is this delicate balancing act that some members of Congress have to engage in. And then there's others like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz, who are piece of shit hogs regardless, and they are going to behave in a piece of shit hog-like way regardless because they're disgusting human beings. But that is the reason why so many Republicans aren't just being like, yeah, this is kind of fucked up. No, you're such a fucking idiot. Please enlighten me on your incredible point of view. Yeah, boy, ODB. Trump will win MAGA 2020. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Hope she got through metal detector Omega Lal.
Trump will win, you dumbasses. Oh, no. Oh, no. We'll keep him. We'll keep him. Oh, we'll keep him. He's... Oh, no, 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 no. Wait, what? Trump will win MAGA 2020? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Oh. Oh. I feel bad. I feel bad. He's down bad, boys. He's down bad. What is that? No, 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 no.
sabe. Whoa. Él no sabe. No, 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 no. Él no sabe. Whoa. Él no sabe. No, 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 no. The streamer is streaming, but he doesn't read chat. Chat is being funny, but he doesn't know. He wants to know what's going on, so he looks at chat. But chat is just laughing at him. Ha! Él no sabe. Whoa. Él no sabe. No, 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 no. Él no sabe. Whoa. Él no sabe. No, 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 no.
Okay, enough fun we've had with this one. Let's see. That's it. Oh, he just said, oh, immediately. Y'all are such dickheads, dude. Immediately, as soon as I catch one of these hogs in the wild, you have to gift him a sub. Oh, we got one. We can keep him. We can keep him as long as he doesn't get out of hand, okay?
The Republican National Committee. Michael Steele, your thoughts as you watch. Actually, I want to read to you a little bit of Congressman Meyer's statement. He says this. We've been talking about Republicans wrestling with their conscience. He lays it out. He says, this vote's not a victory. It isn't a victory for my party. It isn't a victory for the Democrats. It isn't the victory the Democrats might think it is. I'm not sure it's a victory for our country, but it is a call to action for us to reflect on these events and seek ways to correct them. I have wrestled with the division this vote will cause. I wrestled with the precedent it will establish, and I have concerns with due process. I have wrestled with whether impeachment, an inherently political process, is a meaningful mechanism of accountability for the seriousness of the president's action. But today, my job is to apply my best judgment to the article of impeachment that's on the floor of the U.S. Congress. With the facts at hand, I believe the article of impeachment to be accurate. The president betrayed his oath of office by seeking to undermine our constitutional process, and he bears responsibility for inciting the violent acts of insurrection last week. With a heavy heart, I will vote to impeach President Donald J. Trump. Republican House member Congressman Meyer. What do you think when you see them wrestling so publicly with this, but coming out with all this clarity that it was indeed Donald Trump and he deserves to be impeached?
Well, it's the small irony, maybe, it is the consummation of a wrestling process that many of these members have been going through for the last 4 or 5 years.
7 months already.
They've wrestled at various times back after Charlottesville or during the election process itself.
No,
when
the
the
fuck
president
they didn't, dude. They never fucking wrestled with any of this shit.
Process and vote by mail. So
Like,
this sort
think
of
about
cathartic moment.
Think about what the Republicans are wrestling with. Condemnation of Nazis, that one of them which literally killed a person. Condemnation of Nazis that were literally saying Jews will not replace us on the streets of America, wearing like fucking, Nazi gear and Confederacy gear, like two of the biggest losers in all throughout history. Wrestling with their consciousness in regards to like allowing people to vote by mail. Like, maybe at some point you got to be like, all right, we are the bad guys. We are literally the bad guys. There is no way we are the good guys here in this story, okay? Like, everyone wants to think that they are the protagonist, but really, come on. I mean, think about it. Are you really the protagonist in this story? Are you really the good guy in this story? If you're fucking straight up, your entire fucking world, your entire worldview revolves around doing pound for pound the most significant, like as many inequalities, as many horrific injustices as you can squeeze out of one congressional session. Like, if that's your goal, then maybe you're not the good guys. I'm just saying, dude. Also, another thing that really is frustrating to me is that we have to act like they are the good guys, or we have to act like there simply is a difference in opinion. There is no difference in opinion about Nazis. There is no difference in opinion about fucking I don't know, allowing people to vote by mail. Like, it's not like Democrats are saying Republicans don't get to vote by mail, only Democrats do. They're just saying everyone should vote by mail and everyone should have access to vote early. Why in the fuck is that a conversation? Like, it's the same kind of nonsensical bullshit mentality that revolves around this dance that we fucking dance, this game that we play with one another when we are talking about like Voting Rights Act, when we're talking about all these things like election fraud or voter fraud, not election fraud. Like Republicans claim voter fraud occurred, right? They put out 60 fucking lawsuits. They all got thrown out with the exception of one. And that lawsuit that the Republican or Trump's lawyers won was about moving poll watchers from 12 feet to 6 feet so they could see the poll, the counters, the vote counters better, right? So we never think about that as like there are fucking poll watchers in that room that are Democrats too. We only think like Democrats are the ones who are counting the votes and the Republicans are the poll watchers. Motherfucker, there are Democrats and Republicans both counting the votes, and there are Democrats and Republicans who are both poll watchers. Why is it that, like, if there's voter fraud, that it always favors the fucking Republicans when it, or sorry, favors the Democrats and never the Republicans? No one ever thinks about it. Like, oh, we can't have everybody vote by mail because then Democrats would cheat. It's like, believe I've been here for why are Republicans not doing voter fraud? There are 1,200 instances of voter fraud that have occurred in that famous American Enterprise Institute study or the Heritage Foundation study, one or the other, I can't remember. One of those fucking conservatives against that everyone brings up all the time. They always bring it up. 1,200 instances of voter fraud in over 1 billion ballots cast, in over 1 billion votes over the course of multiple decades. How is that an example? How is that a reason to actually fucking implement these insane measures, dude? One is too many? Man, shut the fuck up. That one is too many, my ass. There is nothing that's fully perfect. There's no system in which there's a fully perfect system. Meanwhile, one is too many. One fake vote is not too many, okay? One instance of voter fraud is nothing. Do you want to know why it's nothing? Because it's statistically unimportant, you dumb fuck. Whereas one life that is taken inappropriately as a consequence of capital punishment is one life too many. But Republicans will never have that argument because you don't give a fuck about anything. You just care about winning arguments, or you just care about repeating talking points. One life being lost is too many. One life being lost in the hands of police is too many. One building being burned down as a consequence of one life being lost in the hands of the police is not too many. One is structural damage, property damage. One inappropriate vote cast or one instance of voter fraud is nothing. Reshift your focus. Reshift your priorities. There are instances where even one person that has experienced injustice is too far, and we should stop it. But of course there's going to be fucking inadequacies and inefficiencies in the system. Of course there's going to be people that fucking do voter fraud, but 1,200 over the course of 1 billion votes is not a reason to completely dismantle certain protocols that other countries take for granted. You're a psychopath. You don't even know what you're doing this for. That's the worst part. Republicans, half the time, and I don't mean professional Republicans, I mean like regular Republicans that live in your lives that you know, don't even know what they're fighting for. They don't even recognize what they're fighting for. They're literally just, they're just putting on the Jets jersey, okay? That's it. It's no different than just advocating for a multi-billionaire run sports franchise that has a bunch of other multi-millionaires chasing a fucking ball. It's the same thing for them. It's just team sports for them. It's Republicans. I'm a Republican. Republicans are good. And Democrats are bad because they're the fucking Patriots. I fucking hate them. I'm Goey, Jets, Jets, baby. Like, that's it. That's literally the same shit. Thank you for except the Jets would be the Democrats in this analogy because they are perpetual losers. So probably if there was a team that resembled the Democratic Party, it would be the Jets. So, you know, I use the MAGA voice on the Jets fan, but in reality, let's be real. The Jets are literally the Democratic Party. Oh my God. What will fucking Claire McCaskill have to say about this? Speaking of the Jets, embodied in a fucking political person, former Senator Claire McCaskill, who literally fucking went along with Donald Trump's goddamn caravan, white nativist or racial agitation in the form of like, you know, an immigrant caravan coming to America. Claire McCaskill was on board with what she was saying with what he was saying, and she got fucking dunked on.
Unifying president, and had none of them ever complained about it.
Potato woman.
So come on, give me a break. And by the way, this is 10 votes. It may not seem like a lot, but this is the most votes from from a party of the president in an impeachment in history. I think the previous high number was 5. There were 5 Democrats that voted for Clinton for several of the counts of Clinton's impeachment. So this is doubling the number that voted against Clinton in terms of voting to impeach a president of your own party. It's notable because all these districts are drawn. They are not drawn to be.
Why is she logging on from her kitchen, dude? What
one
the
or
fuck?
the other. So that's a big number in the House.
And just to underscore Claire's point, there are now 10 Republicans who have voted to impeach Donald J. Trump for inciting the insurrection.
Clinton got impeached for lying about getting sucked off. Okay? Just to put that into fucking perspective. Like, Bill Clinton is a horrible monster, okay? And the things that he did to women that we know of, at least, would be looked at very differently in today's standards and should have been looked at very differently back in that day's standards. But having said that, what he was impeached for was literally copping dome in the Oval Office and then lying about it and proceeding to lie about it. Meanwhile, like, to put that into perspective, you got Donald Trump who's doing an armed insurrection where 5 people died, and we're like, I don't know. Can we do that? Can we impeach him? Are we going too far? What about unity? Can you imagine Bill Clinton being like, we need to do unity?
Thank you, Hasan.
I got sucked off, but America, don't you all want to get sucked off in the Oval Office? Wouldn't you all want to do that? Wouldn't you all want to get a little bit of dome if you could? America. We need to unite around getting our dick sucked.
Heavy heart and clear resolve. I will vote yes on these articles of impeachment.
Claire, I just want to come to you on that. I mean, I cried when I heard him say this part of that. Others, including myself, are responsible for not speaking out sooner before the president misinformed and inflamed a violent mob who tore down the American flag and brutally beat Capitol police officers. Yes, everyone who let the lie seep in. I know good people who believe the lie, believe that there was voter fraud. There was no voter fraud. And to hear him stand up today and take responsibility was, at a minimum, refreshing.
It is refreshing, and it remains in stark contrast to his colleagues who know that all of the supposed evidence of fraud was in possession of Trump's lawyers.
It's so refreshing.
And
I feel so
either
refreshed.
because they knew it was unreliable and they didn't want to perjure themselves in court, or because courts told them it was rumor, it was not relevant, it wasn't true, it was misstated over and over and over again, even after case at every level of our courts across this country. Trump appointees all rejected their legal arguments because there was no evidence. Even after that, the majority of the Republicans in the House of Representatives voted to overturn the election.
It's unbelievable. And Claire, we're going to listen in. Speaker Pelosi's at the dais. Let's all listen in together.
Where's she coming from? No, can't go.
Wow. How enlightening. I'm so glad we paused for that. I mean, fuck Claire McCaskill, so that's awesome. MSNBC should just keep cucking her over and over again. To get hot mic moments of like Nancy Pelosi farting
Claire,
or something, you know what I mean? Just like fucking.
The speaker ask
I would
if all the
rather
votes
listen
are
to
in.
that
The
than
vote
Claire
count currently
McCaskill
stands at
farting out of her mouth.
231 votes to impeach Donald Trump, 197 against.
Do they know?
Go ahead.
Does the network know?
Claire, your mic's open. We're on the air.
So now the
We heard the speaker ask if every vote was in. It sounds like she's getting close to announcing the vote total. There we go. There's another one.
Is my microphone?
Claire, you're on the air.
They said they were
On
going to let
this
me go.
vote, the ayes are 232. The nays are 197. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. That's it. What next?
And there you have it, folks.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi announcing the vote in the House. 232 members of Congress voting to impeach Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been impeached a second time, becoming the first president.
The chair announces that pursuant to Section 3A of House Resolution 41, the House Resolution 40 is hereby adopted. The chair announces the Speaker's appointment pursuant to Clause 11 of Rule 10, Clause 11 of Rule 1, in the order the following of the House of January 4th, 2021, of the following members of the House to the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Mr. Schiff of California, Chair.
It's
Mr.
a
Nunes
matinee,
of
boys!
California.
Who's the real two-timer now? So nice, they had to impeach him twice.
Donald Trump has been impeached the second time. We're waiting and watching along with all of you.
Impeachment champion!
In the meantime, I want to bring in a special guest of this broadcast, freshman Democratic Congresswoman.
Breaking all the records!
Joins us. Congresswoman,
Breaking
your thoughts?
all the records, boys!
Pursuant to Section 5A, 1B of House Resolution 8, the House...
This needed to happen, and it needed to happen now. We could not wait around to see how people thought, what people thought.
All right, let's hear what Cori Bush has to say. She's dope.
Our job as the House of Representatives was to put this before.
She got a harmonica back there?
This man out. I called him today the white supremacist in chief. That's who he has been. That has been okay with him. And we saw it on full display January the 6th. And we're hearing we will see even more coming up over the next week. And so we had to make this decision today. I was proud to cast my vote to be a part of impeaching Donald J. Trump.
What impact does it have, in your view, in terms of preventing anything like this from ever happening again, that 10 Republicans chose today to stand with you and to stand with their Democratic colleagues to impeach Donald Trump?
It's about influence. And when you have someone who is in a position of power, who is able to influence others around them, so there had to be some type of whether it's
can one of the mods send me a clip?
Bias or some type of prejudice on the inside of people that Donald Trump was able to touch. He was able to touch that and awaken it, and he gave it space. He gave it room. And when you take out the king, when the king no longer has a place, then we see that people start to do something different and people will adapt to the next person. That's what's about to happen. There's going to be a new sheriff in town that's going to be making the decisions that people will then lean into. What we will see is our country has to become a country where anti-racism is the thing. We have to do the work, the intentional work of that. And we can't do it with a person like Donald Trump, because what he was doing was people were connecting to it and then thinking, okay, I can do this too. And we were seeing it all around the country, but as well as in the Senate and in the House. No longer. So we worked on Donald Trump, but now with my House Resolution 25, we're also talking about those in Republican members of Congress who were working alongside him, who were taking notes and trying to bring that thing into fruition, in our communities. and in the House. No longer. No, we say you cannot bring your guns to the House floor. We say you will not incite an insurrection, and we sit back and be quiet. You deserve to be expelled from Congress. This actually, and this is the thing, they're not looking at this as a job that they should be honored to have because the people voted for them. The people elected them. They're looking at this like it is their plaything. Like this is, you know, like Donald Trump did, like their big daddy did. He treated the presidency like it was his own TV show. Well, you know what? We're bringing you back to reality. And this reality show, we are here. It's not just me. It's the squad and it's the rest of the members of Congress that are working to fight this. We stood up today and we made our voices clear.
I want to ask you about something I saw on your Twitter feed. I also saw all over social media last night. One of your colleagues said in a, I think, Facebook Live meeting with her constituents that there was a tour given the day before the insurrection by other members. Is that under investigation? Is there anything else you can tell us about that?
We're getting more and more information every day. We did hear about more than one tour. And so I am glad that I will, you know, I'm seated to be able to be a part. If there is an investigation that touches the committees that I'm on, you know, House Judiciary Committee, or even if something later on comes by oversight, the Oversight Committee. The sad part is that was such an inside thing. This is why it's important for us to right now work to expel those members of Congress. Because when you have people on the inside that are planning to hurt the very people that they're working with, the lawmakers that were elected by the people, and just people, period.
God's third leg, thank you for the 50 gifted subs.
And you actually sought out to hurt us. You planned this. So we plan to get rid of you.
Congresswoman Cori Bush leaving her mark. Thank you for spending
Trump
some
supporter
time
is the
with
new
us
Jew. If you
today
ever wonder whether you would
such
have
an historic day
complied
on
during
Capitol Hill.
1930s
Thank
Germany, now you
We're gonna
know.
go back
How
to
are you
NBC
so
News,
fucking far
Capitol Hill
removed from
correspondent
reality, dude?
Garrett Hake. Garrett,
thank you, God's third leg, for the 50.
Time, because we all had to think this morning, did I wear this last time Donald Trump was impeached? There can be sort of a reflex to say, well, of course he was impeached again. That's how bad he was. But truly historic that 10 Republicans voted with every Democrat, I believe every Democrat, we'll double check that, to impeach Donald Trump just 7 days before he leaves office. What to you is the significance of that, and what happens next?
Well, I think the speed of it is going to be historically significant over time, but I think the bipartisan nature of it and from where these Republican members came, everywhere from Michigan to South Carolina, Illinois to New York, that crossover is historic. Nixon didn't have 10 votes against from his own party, I don't believe. I know certainly Bill Clinton didn't. And that's going to set up the Senate trial in a way that'll be completely different from the first impeachment. I mean, it's just extraordinary that we're even talking about it in these terms. But the trial will be a very different animal. In a weird way, the stakes will be lower because we understand now that Mitch McConnell's not going to use any of the emergency powers that are available to him to bring the Senate back before the Biden term starts to begin this. So we're going to have this weird dual split screen moment in the Senate where the Senate will be potentially working to confirm Joe Biden's nominees in the morning and working to convict the former President Donald Trump in the afternoon, knowing that a significant number of Republicans have already supported it. It's just, I can't get my head around how strange the second half of this month is going to be in a very different way than the first half of this month was as we try to process these things simultaneously. And I think those 10 Republicans gave permission slips to senators across the board that if they really want to be done with this president, if they really want to wash their hands of him and vote for his conviction and barring him from ever holding federal office again, they could do so under a strong bipartisan cover. So these are just two completely unique political moments that are going to exist side by side in the history books, but couldn't be more different in the way they're really playing out politically or in the real world. I want
to follow up on a lot of that, but I want to add to our conversation. I've tried to do this 3 or 4 times. Live events have intervened, but we're fortunate to be joined now by MSNBC political analyst, former Democratic Congresswoman Donna Edwards. Donna, your thoughts?
Thank you. You know, today was really extraordinary because I listened to a number of the, the statements by Republican.
Listen, okay, this is boring. All right, so let's be real, guys. Let's be real for a moment, okay? I want to be real with you for a moment. A president who has a dumpy like Donald Trump, a president who has the kind of peach that is not, that you can't really fully grasp and fully appreciate on the first try, deserves to be impeached twice. You have to. He's got double the dumpy, and now he's got double the impeachments, folks. Also, I think I might have actually passed the 1 million, not subscriber, 1 million follower count, but I don't know where to, how do I look at that? Where do I find that? Like, isn't there like a live counter or some shit of that? I really should have had like balloons and stuff, but I fucked up.
Yeah.
Where is it? On Social Blade? It doesn't show. Oh, real-time follower count. Yeah, no, on Social Blade it says it says that I didn't hit 1 million. See, it doesn't. Also, I just it usually never, people will start unfollowing regardless, but oh, it's a bummer. Like, I briefly caught Ludwig's like 1 million party where he literally had balloons and stuff like that, and I should have just turned it into 1-day follower mode. Yeah, that's true. Actually, we should do that. Do it, mods. Put it on 1-day follower mode. See how, yeah, for the rest of the day, if you wanna fuck around, dude, for the rest of the day, you don't get to speak. Yeah, unfollow Pepela. Okay, fuck you. Yeah, unfollow now. I'm not gonna do this. I can't do the celebration of like the 1 million followers, things like that. I'm so bad at it. It's also the first platform I've ever actually reached 1 million followers on, which is wild considering the fact that, oh no, if I increase the follower mode to 1 day now, the people that like unfollowed just for the meme right here are not going to be able to speak for the rest of the day. You can subscribe and override that. Cutie Cinderella made a video for Ludwig. What did your girlfriend do for you? Spaldinga? Nothing. Oh, it's here. It's happening. It's happening. Oh my God. Oh my God. God, this sucks. I can never find... Okay, these are all... Fuck, I want to do like inspiration... I'm so scuffed. I want to do inspirational music, but I literally can't. Okay? Okay, we're so close. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently sitting on the edge of 1 million followers. Now, and that's it! Oh, I couldn't even do the drop. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached 1 million followers on twitch.tv/HasanAbi. Oh, my brother called, apparently. We did it, boys. Donald Trump got impeached twice, and I hit 1 million followers today. Not such a bad day after all. I'm gonna quickly turn this off before it goes under. It goes underneath 1 million. Oh, it's still going up. It's not going down. Okay. All right, I'm closing it. All right, it's done. It's over. I closed it. It's over. I closed
Yeah,
it.
Trump got impeached. That's great. And all
Okay,
the chat.
so
did you guys see the James Harden trade?
the thing I was gonna say about the things I was gonna say about the 1 million followers is that, like, for a very we can put it back on to 10 minutes now. We've gone through. We don't need to punish the people who are just trying to meme and shit, even though they are pieces of shit who wanted to fucking ruin a moment just for like 1 second of a joke, but whatever. Okay, so
Hasan.
So what happened? What happened is, like, when I started on Twitch on March 28th or 23rd, 2018,
so shocked that the
I had 15 people watching me, and I've been streaming nonstop since then. And I'm so happy. I'm so glad that you guys are here along for the journey, and this community keeps growing, and it's fucking awesome. I do not deserve all of this. I think that this is insane. This is the first platform I've reached 1 million followers on, not even on Facebook, where I had like 500,000 before this. But as I always say, in moments like this, it's you guys that make this easy for me. It's this community that we've been able to put together that makes streaming not seem like such a chore and so fun, even with all the ups and downs, and even with all the emotional trauma that I subject myself to, including getting literal shingles, a disease that reactivates in your body. Chickenpox reactivated in my body.
Trump is gone. Crab. Trump is gone. Crab. Trump is gone.
As a consequence of the anger and emotionally
Crab. Trump is gone. Crab. Trump is
tumultuous experiences I have with this chat from time to time. But ultimately, I'm glad that the community grows. I'm glad that you guys are out there also preaching this. And I'm glad that you're spreading the good word. Anyway,
hey, sexy.
I still remember. I think, like, in the beginning of 2019, definitely, and even by the end of 2019, I used to have like 2,000 people watching me consistently in my concurrent viewership, and I could not break like 100,000. I don't know why. It was just so strange. Like, people just would not follow. And I think like part of the reason was because plenty of people on Twitch did not see me as like a Twitch platform content creator. They would just come and tune in every now and then. Or I had a lot of Normans who were not interested in Twitch in general and didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to do about like follows and whatnot. But since then, this community has grown, both on the average concurrent viewership. So many of you tune in every day, and also now with the follower count, because I think that there are more people on this platform that accept me as a Twitch streamer, and that makes me makes me happy. So thank you for being here, and thank you for watching. Imagine getting swine flu and the chickenpox. I did. I got swine flu in 2009, though. That was Obama. Obama gave me swine flu. You're the reason I joined Twitch. Oh, there's a lot of people like that like come on to Twitch for political commentary, and they're like, yeah, whatever. I'll just like tune in every now and then, like a TV show. Oh, this person. I was gonna reference this. Thanks for what you do, even though you timed me out for 2 weeks for asking what Section 230 is. I never figured it out. Wait, you never figured it out? You had 2 weeks time off to think about what Section 230 was, and you couldn't Google it? Don't make me give you another 2 week timeout, dude. I will time you out again. But yeah, I'm not one for the big fanfare. I am not I'm not very good at doing these sorts of celebrations and whatnot. So we're going to just get back to regular business, regular order of business, and continue fucking hitting the content mines, baby. In the midst of all of this shit that's going on. But once again, I'm very grateful. I'm very happy that you guys were here for this. You know, I might not be the kind of streamer that gets the most amount of views when he's playing video games. I might not be the kind of streamer that gets like Twitch drops from video games that he plays, stuff like that. But ultimately, you know, this is an area that I've been able to carve out for myself on Twitch, and it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to speak to so many people. Have you talked about the information compiled by Seth Abramson? Yes, I have. All right, let's get back to whatever the fuck we were doing, though. Yes, Seth Abramson is a charlatan and should not be taken seriously. So I don't know why you guys do, and you shouldn't. It's insignificant. He's just silly. He's a silly bitch. Cool mask for you to take a look at when you get a chance. Oh, Razer made a gaming mask, a gamer mask.
3 months.
Razer Games. Oh, let's see what Mitch McConnell.
Section of the president has now moved over, believe it or not, to Lindsey Graham. He is the one who's calling my former colleagues today and trying to get them to commit to not vote to impeach.
I hope I was able to make politics palatable for you. And in some ways, I hope I was able to make sense of how fucking insane this shit is. And more enjoyable and more understandable for you. That's my goal ultimately.
Biden had won fair
so that you can go out and disseminate the same talking points I give you and sound cool and smart in normal political conversations. But also, you know,
and Michael, let me
get other
ask you,
people
some have wondered where the
to
Nixon
understand that
moment
there
was
is a
in
more
office,
empathetic
when
way.
he offered to resign, or you know, being counseled to resign and eventually
To do
leaving
politics.
The White House. And why hasn't that occurred in your mind? And is it still a possibility?
I think it probably isn't, because this guy wants to hang on, although he always is trying to cut a deal. But the astounding thing today, Lester, is this guy might get convicted. We have never seen that happen before in American history. Number two, 1/2 of the presidential impeachments in history, as of today, belong to Donald Trump. And just as Claire was saying, if this guy gets convicted, and I think...
I mean, he owns half the presidential dumpers throughout time, so it only makes sense that he owns half the presidential impeachment.
Capitol, that terrorist attack. If he is convicted, he is basically finished as certainly a future political figure, because they will have that vote to prevent him from serving in office. And also, he will be permanently turned in American history into a pariah.
Folks, my sources tell me Donald Trump is done, and not just on Twitch.
They will mention it as an epithet and an insult.
My sources are telling me Donald Trump is done, and not just on the executive branch, not just in the White House.
America has survived divided times before, because this does feel like such a moment of division. And it's ironic that there are a lot of arguments about unity today and the best way to be united. How do we get back to that place?
Trump is going.
Well, you're absolutely right, Savannah. You know, this country, it's got it in its DNA to unite. Goes all the way back to the beginning. And we go through these terrible things like the Civil War and World War I and II and the Great Depression and 1968 in Vietnam and the Great Recession of 2008. In the end, we like to come together. And I think key to that is a president who wants to bring people together and who has that talent. Donald Trump never wanted to, from that first address at the inaugural 4 years ago next week on American Carnage. Joe Biden, that's what he likes to do, and he does it very well.
All right, Michael Beschloss, thank you so much. Senator Claire McCaskill, before that, we appreciate your time.
Okay, while they're moving on, of course, what a better way to also celebrate double impeachment, and also what a better way to celebrate 1 million followers on this platform here on Twitch than to hit you with a top of the hour. Wait, hold on. For old time's sake, actually. Hold on.
What does this mean? He can't run again?
Yes, if he's impeached and convicted in the Senate, he won't be able to run again. Just the impeachment itself doesn't matter, but... Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and bees, for good old time's sake, I'll do you one solid. It's top of the fucking hour. Every hour. Where we have a celebration, I guess. A 60-second ad break is upon us. Now, if you would like to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5. Or you can do it for free with your Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, which gives you 1 free Twitch Prime. Or if you know how to use one of those things, you can use UNBLOCKED or something, like an ad block or something, or, you know, join from Hungary or Turkey, if you will, if you have one of those VPNs. But the most effective method is, of course, subscribing with a Twitch Prime. Here's the 60-second ad break coming to you right now, ladies and gentlemen. And then after that, we're going to go back to the regular order of business. I gotta go grab a coffee while this plays. Hold on one moment.
Bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened them damn natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes of Carishandra. Time is coming fast, and I think this day is near when he's shown traitor, he will run before us. And if there'll be a need, well, our kids will say Godspeed with a verse or two of singing this fine chorus.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, back to the business.
To convict President Trump. Yours will be a Pyrrhic victory, for instead of stopping the Trump train, his movement will grow stronger, for you will have made him a martyr. Donald Trump is a living, breathing, impeachable offense. It is what it is.
Read Ms. Cheney's statement. Let's come together and impeach the president for this high crime against the republic. We don't have a minute to spare. He is a clear and present danger to the people.
I believe impeaching the president in such a short time frame would be a mistake.
Why?
That doesn't mean the president is free from fault. The president
he wants to give him a slap on the wrist. We got to censure him. Shut the fuck up, Kevin McCarthy.
He is capable of starting a civil war. He must be impeached. He must be stopped now.
Let's get right to NBC News correspondent Leanne Caldwell, who is on Capitol Hill. Leanne, your reaction, your thoughts on the vote on the floor today. I know you've been following these lawmakers throughout. Did this vote go as you expected? Anyone really surprise you here?
So what ended up happening was 10 House Republicans ended up voting with all Democrats in support of impeaching this president for the second time. Remember, last time the president was impeached just about a year ago, no Republicans joined on. So one of the most surprising things to me, Allison, was one lawmaker, Representative Rice of South Carolina. He comes from a very conservative district, including the third most conservative county in the state. He's not someone who usually bucks the party, not someone who bucks the president at all. He's kind of been a under the radar type of lawmaker. But the fact that he came out in support of impeachment today was really astonishing, actually. Of course, there was Representative Liz Cheney, who the most influential and high-ranking Republican, who did come out for impeachment as well. And then there was one statement that I also want to note of Representative McCall. He is a leading member, the chair of the Armed Services Committee, and Foreign Relations Committee, or he was. Anyway,
yeah,
and
he said, "Fucks the president."
That he voted against impeachment, but he said perhaps he might come out on the wrong side of history. He acknowledged that there were lots of problems, and he's not sure if his vote against impeachment was the right one. But politically, Allison, all 10 of these Republicans who voted to impeach,
King of Ghosts for the
one thing that's
5
interesting
subs.
is our colleague Carrie Dan. She notes that all 10 of them outperformed the president in their conservative districts in the 2020 election, Allison.
Huh. Oh, that is really interesting for sure, Leanne. So what stood out in particular to you about today? I know this is a day unlike any other, but was there one moment where you just said, wow, this really struck me?
We love you.
I was really watching to see how House Republicans who were against impeachment were going to frame their argument, and they were all over the place. There was not one unified message. Some Republicans were saying that they needed to unify the country and not divide the country. That's why they didn't support impeachment. Some were blaming Democrats and blaming the left, basically saying that that impeachment was another witch hunt, which the president said the other day.
They don't want to. They want to unite, dude. Yeah, that's why.
Like the leader Kevin McCarthy, who for the very first time he said that the president, publicly anyway, said the president bears some responsibility. And he also, for the first time, said that Joe Biden won the election. Let's take a listen.
It's not enough.
Let's be clear. Joe Biden
This
will
is
be
not
sworn
enough.
in
This
as
is
President of
bullshit.
the United States in 1 week because he won the election. And the presidency and this Congress will face immediate challenges that must be addressed. I stand ready to assist in that effort with good faith, goodwill, and an open hand.
The reason it is significant that McCarthy said that Joe Biden did win the election, because let's remember the roots of what happened here. It's because the president and so many Republicans would refuse to admit that, riling up their supporters, leading to what we saw just 1 week ago in the Capitol, Allison.
Leanne, let's talk a little bit more about the Republicans. You said 10 House Republicans voted to impeach President Trump this time around. Yesterday, we heard from the number 3 House Republican, Liz Cheney, saying that...
Okay, I don't care about Liz Cheney. Listen, oh my God, stop sucking off Liz Cheney. Why is everybody talking about Liz Cheney? Oh my God, fuck her. Okay, listen, guys. Republicans that are literally using this as an opportunity. Here, let's listen to what she had to say.
Some comfort to, in fact,
oh, never mind. They're not showing your speech. So, Republicans that are using this as an opportunity to separate themselves, from Donald Trump as though they are something different than Donald Trump, are using this in a very pragmatic way. It's not even the bare minimum. The bare minimum would be to call out other Republicans as well and be like, well, you know, we should also look at the actions our colleagues have taken in like galvanizing and emboldening these people who do not believe that the election was won, instead of lying about the election outcomes for such a long period of time until they literally physically could no longer lie about it. There are still Republicans in Congress that are lying about the outcome of the election and maintaining the position that, like, you know, the election was stolen. Like, it's not enough to just say, yeah, Donald Trump bad, Orange Man bad. Like, you have to recognize that the root cause of these problems, you have to recognize the root cause of these problems, which are structural inequalities, structural inefficiencies, material inequalities, a lot of racial animosity that has not been solved and instead been used. A lot of racial animosity that has not been solved. Okay, I turned off TTS for now. And instead been used as a weapon to drive people to go out and vote for the Republicans. Like, you have to constantly recognize that. You have to remember that that's like what Republicans have been doing. They've been lying about fucking elections and election integrity for so fucking long. And this was just simply a logical culmination, a final step in that process. So they've been doing this for a very, very long time. So don't like, make no mistake. They've been lying about the shit even before Donald Trump, and they're going to continue lying about it so they can justify voter suppression measures. Okay? So Liz Cheney doing the bare minimum here is not really like putting herself out there or anything like that, or doing the reasonable thing. Like, we should just recognize that as the pragmatic take that she's making. And then remember that, like, a lot of these Republicans are demons that won't even do that. Okay?
Now, the question is, what happens in the Senate? Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell just put out a statement seconds ago, right before I came on air, saying that the earliest that the trial can begin is January 19th. He declined to invoke the emergency powers that Senator Schumer says that he and McConnell have the ability to do. And so what he laid out in his timeline is, we can do this, but I'm just going to tell you that the last impeachment trials took anywhere from 20 days to 36 days, and that will consume a good portion of the beginning of the Biden presidency.
How should writers go about contacting you for comment on current events / interviews? You can DM me on Discord. You can @ me on Twitter. You can write in my chat. I'm very approachable. I usually don't know Waldo, not on purpose, but I'm pretty bad at fucking responding to messages and shit.
If you will, were we expecting Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, and Jim Clyburn to be speaking shortly as soon as they take the podium? We will, of course, bring that to you. In the meantime, Leanne, I've got another question for you about the Senate. The New York Times reporting.
Important information. When you see that video, those National Guard members, you see many of them.
This is on the ground. Okay, hold on. I want to see what they're saying now.
From the Republican Party, going back to this theme of the splits within the party and the difficulties this party will have bringing itself back together.
Yeah,
what are
right.
you
I do
hearing
see
from other Senate Republicans about that and about how much of an influence that could potentially have on their votes in the Senate trial?
Yeah. So before I get to that answer, Allison, I just do want to bring up one thing because viewers see it on the screen.
Sure.
That podium is the same podium that you saw in the images of those rioters carrying out in the Capitol Rotunda. So that.
Yo, this is a controversial take, but like, the podium theft is like, it's not. Like, I am way more worried about people who rolled into Congress with like flex cuffs than the guy who stole the podium. Like, I'm sorry. It's almost, it's funny. Like, it's not even, it's a piece of wood. It's literally funny. It's childish as fuck. Like, there's people that built pipe bombs and shit. And the lectern, like, or whoever, the dude, the dad, the stay-at-home dad that stole the lectern, like, I really don't care about that at all. I really don't care. I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to. Terrorism equals funny. First of all, we make fun of everything here, and yes, sometimes even terrorism when it's such hog-like levels of terrorism. I mean, have you never seen, like, fucking, I mean, I can't show you anymore because it's not a part of the new TOS, but, like, have you never seen, like, a fucking ISIS training video where they jump over barrels of fire and shit? It's hilarious. It's so fucking stupid. I don't know why they do that. They will literally have, like, firebenders in the corner while, like, dudes wearing the, I think it's a shamak, will, like, literally do barrel rolls and like leap between barrels that are on fire and shit. It's so stupid. What the fuck is this?
Found them to get to the House floor today. It is extremely rare to see troops setting up camp at the U.S. Capitol like this. It has happened just twice since the Civil War. NBC News political reporter Vaughn Hilliard is outside the Capitol this evening. Vaughn, the pictures of the security at the...
What? First of all, bro, this is bad base building, okay? Rust brain, whatever. That's bad base building. The chain link fence is like tippable. You cannot just put a fucking chain link fence. You got to build at least a high external stone wall. That's 1,500 rock per stone wall, but it's worth it, okay? That's number one. 2, you got to put auto turrets. 3, you got to power those auto turrets with a solar panel or a windmill that is in an area that is not easily accessible. Okay? Chain link fence is crooked and terrible, easy to fucking topple. Not good. Not good. Do we get drops for this? Yes. Rust drops are on now, boys.
Tonight to arm the National Guard. I'm also told that we should expect the number of National...
I can't wait to show you guys what I did with my gun emporium, by the way, later today in a little bit. I was building it earlier this morning. That's why I was late. I was building with Ray C, who's the nicest person on the planet.
It fell until hours after individuals had already broken in and made their way into the...
I also can't wait. I have a fun plan for you guys. I'm going to run for mayor/president of Rustopia. And I've already reached out to Ludwig. And I think that coward Kelvin Ballsworth might come up and run up against me. Hank Pecker, an American hero.
And where the U.S. Capitol steps start here. This is quiet around
Pecker
here.
2021, folks!
You couldn't see any law enforcement. We were out on the west front of the Capitol, and there was no law enforcement, no National Guard to be seen. Now, frankly, Allison, that's all you can see here on the Capitol grounds tonight.
Vaughn, we know Joe Biden's inauguration is now just 1 week away. Will security there be ramping up even more this week? And specifically, what do we know about the plans for Inauguration Day?
FBI warrants
Inauguration
plans
Day
of
will take
nationwide armed
place
protests
on
next
that
week.
west platform. This is the east side of the Capitol. The west side is the one that faces towards the National Mall and the Washington Monument. The inaugural team announcing yesterday that it will, in fact, despite those threats that have continued here over the course of the last days, that inauguration will still take place. Again, 6,600 National Guardsmen here today. That number is expected to jump by 15,000. And that is coming in as a supplemental role to support Capitol Police, to support the Metropolitan Police Department of D.C., to support the National Park Service. There are several federal and local law enforcement agencies on the ground here. The National Guard is not only coming in a law enforcement capacity, but also to help support in logistical and traffic, but also on the medical front here. This is a Washington, D.C. that is all but shut down in the blocks between here and the White House right now. And that is why here, 1 week ahead of Inauguration Day, and as these impeachment proceedings are underway right now, after what happened a week ago, you have a very much of a lockdown, a ghost town outside of that National Guard and that law enforcement presence, Allison.
Yeah, it is incredible to see how D.C. has locked down. Vaughn, thank you so much for showing us what's going on today and what we should expect in the days ahead. Appreciate it, my friend.
Thanks, my friend.
A majority of Americans said President Trump should be impeached. 55% favored impeaching Donald Trump, while 45% opposed it in a new CBS News.
What the fuck? How are there 45% of people who are still saying no? What does it take? I mean, he was so right. Listen, Donald Trump has some qualities that you have to admit. He's an incredible poster. Okay? He's got the thickest of dumpies, like just fat. Just the thickest, okay? I could write poetry about his dumpy for days, okay? He's stacked up. He's got the bakery, okay? He's got the bread factory up in that ass. So that's one. But two, he's thick. He's a thick boy. But two, he's also an incredible poster. But lastly, he literally could see the fucking future. When he said I could shoot someone on 5th Avenue and people would still love me and people would still fucking vote for me and nothing would happen, like, that was right. That was right. It's right, dude. No one is fucking saying he shouldn't be impeached because it's a waste of time for the Senate. No. They're saying he shouldn't be impeached because they don't think he did anything impeachable.
President's had a very, very small group of people around him, in part because he has sort of closed himself off, in part because some aides and advisors have left the White House, moving on to other things, and others have left in response to what took place over the last week. We do know that the president has been in touch with Senator Lindsey Graham, who has been one of his friends, but also spoke out against what the president did in terms of his rhetoric last week and some of the actions around the riotous behavior of some of the Trump supporters. So Lindsey Graham is not supporting impeachment and was trying to get others to hold that view as well, while being critical of what the president said and what he did and did not do.
Dude, he's such a piece of shit, dude. He's the worst person on the planet. I swear to God.
Call off
he's such
the violence and to bring in resources and help and that sort of thing. So the president is very much a man alone. The presidency can be a lonely job. In the best of days, it is a particularly lonely job when you've suffered a defeat at the ballot box and this kind of really distressing political damage based on his calls to try to overturn the election, his calls to get his supporters to fight, and all that came from that. So it's a remarkable time, and one where in the final days of his presidency, no one would have imagined it could get this bad, but it has. But we do expect in some form to hear from the president, in addition to the statement where he speaks about not wanting any other violence.
Whoa!
That may be too little too late.
Someone said check Trump's Twitter. Oh, no. Yeah, let's check his Twitter. What does he have to say about this? Oh, no. Oops, we can't. We can't find out because it's 1984 and 1986 and 1987. It's worse than 1984. George Orwell. It's George Orwell 1986. I don't know. I didn't read it. There's hogs and pigs and they're talking and shit, right? Animal Crossing, whatever that fucking game kids are playing on the Nintendo. George Orwin Redenbacher.
Representatives who who stand for an entire state, whereas districts can be very politically diluted or very much saturated in one party or another. But 10 Republicans going against the president is a historic high in the handful of these impeachments that have occurred historically. So that is certainly a blow. And we already know there are senators who have spoken out condemning his actions. And at this point, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader for a remaining time until those Georgia senators are given the oath of office, he has signaled that he's not yet deciding which way to go. He will listen to the evidence, he says, but there's been reporting that through associates of his, he has indicated that he believes the president's conduct was impeachable. That can sometimes be a distinction where they may not vote to impeach, but there's been such broad condemnation of the president's rhetoric and his actions and his behavior about the election and the fight over election fraud that really wasn't.
Oh my God. The FBI has arrested Jenny Cudd, reports CBS 7 News. She recorded a video inside the Capitol saying they didn't vandalize anything, then said they did break down Speaker Pelosi's door and steal her gavel. Cudd's a former Midland, Texas mayoral candidate.
But we did. We did, as I say that. We did.
Dude, I love that. No. It's like, you know how sometimes I say, like, of course, racism is horrifically violent and horrifically cruel, but sometimes there's like, it gives us little gifts where like someone is so fucking unintentionally blinded by white supremacy that they say some shit that's like hilarious, like the white guy that did the reading for "I'm a Southern Black Woman." This is the same with like Republican entitlement, where they're so fucking entitled and they're so insane that they think that they're going to face zero repercussions. So they end up doing these like horrible things. But while they're doing it, they incriminate themselves in this way because they have no fear of the repercussions, which unironically is, and I'm sorry to say this, fucking hilarious. Okay. It is literally hilarious to just be like, well, you know, we're out here robbing a bank. We are robbing a bank right now. And guess what? What are you going to do about it? Lock me up in jail? You can't. I'm robbing a bank right now. Like, that's great. That's great. They won't do nothing to us. I'm stealing Nancy Pelosi's gavel.
Did break down the Nancy Pelosi's office door, and somebody stole her gavel and took a picture sitting in the chair, flipping off the camera, and that was on Fox News. Patriots got down on the floor and were sitting in the House members and the senators' chair and vandalized.
I didn't know I couldn't do that. Yeah, literally. We didn't do anything wrong. We only stole from the Capitol, but that's okay, right? Oh, today's PogChamp? Today's PogChamp looks scared. What the fuck is going on with the PogChamp every day? By the way, I didn't even know that the PogChamp had changed. Does LSF have some takes about this PogChamp as well? Just hold on. I'm about to make a motherfucking point. Let's take a look. Let's go to Livestream Fails real quick. Livestream Fails. Today's new PogChamp. Only 900 upvotes, 333 comments. Daily PogChamp thread Pog. This Pog, correct expression, facing right, identifiably PogChamp. Bonus for being... Oh, interesting. I wonder why today's PogChamp did not get the same level of animosity from the LSF brigaders. And this is not the entirety of LSF who says shit like this, but kind of odd. I wonder why gamers don't have... And by the way, I don't have a problem with this PogChamp either. I have shit on every single PogChamp that has come out so far. I've shit on every single PogChamp that's come out so far. I think they all are not embodying the essence of the aura of PogChamp, and not many do. Okay? Rather interesting. A mystery, if you will. That was Austinox who rated it. Oh, God. Terrible. A strong 8. Ew, Austinox. Oh. I'm almost about to rescind my my ask of you to start making some Rust fucking vids, dude. Oh God. I knew you were on the wrong path here when you were such a big supporter of Donkey in this drama on Drama Mondays. But I had no idea you would correct expression facing right identifiably PogChamp. Doesn't look identifiably PogChamp to me. I think it looks scared. Austinox, our resident vegan agitprop, the secretary of vegan agitative propaganda, an okay buddy memer, anyway, I just like, it's a really bad pog. His mouth hose is too small. Honestly, you know who I think has like actually a good ass PogChamp? I saw it earlier on Twitter. This is such a random change of pace for so many people who are like, what the fuck? I just came in here to see the Trump impeachment. What are you talking about? But this is like real inside Twitch baseball here, folks. You get to learn, you get to see the I low-key think this is actually a good PogChamp. Maybe if he was like a little bit more excited. And if not PogChamp, it's a really good oh or whatever, the fish one. Yeah. So that's my take on the PogChamp. They're trying too hard to feature the streamers full face instead of full profile. Also, the angle of the head is too low. I think the funniest part about this, and I'm probably going to get dunked on by the fucking 4cent weirdos for this, but like, PogChamp is I feel like PogChamp is not, at least in my community, not as used as like the other Pog variants. Like, we make a big deal about it, I feel like, only because it's like the OG. But PogChamp is all right. It's good. It's a classic. But let's be real. It's the fucking variants that make it nowadays. Like, it's the variants. Just like the face of PogChamp has completely transcended Gutex, who is the face that we're using for PogChamp. I think PogChamp as an emote has transcended its beyond like the original emote. I rarely ever saw PogChamps in my chat, whereas we see the different variants so many times, like so much more. Pog, Pog-U, Pogo, Weird Champ, OK Champ. So I think part of the reason why a lot of Twitch streamers hold on to like PogChamp and the way that they do is because it is a reminder of like the pre-TOS times, the Ice Poseidon times, the times when like, you know, you could just yell about women who have breasts on your platform and get upset about it. Like, you've grown beyond it. A lot of Twitch, I think a lot of the Twitch audience has grown beyond it. But it's still a remnant of those old times. It's a relic, if you will. So basically what I'm saying is like PogChamp people that like, you know, hold PogChamp up to this stature are boomers. They're Twitch boomers now. And you got to make way for the Twitch Zoomers, brother. Or hipsters. We're like, oh, I need to hold on to the PogChamp emote. What's your take on the James Harden trade? There is nothing I care less than the motherfucking James Harden trade, dude. I would talk about the history and the background of Twitch emotes for 7 more hours before I fucking talk a second about James Harden. I do not care at all. Oh my God, they have the impeachment of President Donald Trump news live. I love that they make like graphics for this. You know what I mean? It really betrays the mentality that like you're supposed to be like an impartial observer who is commentating on the news, I guess, or maybe even if you're partial. Like it really betrays that when you turn it into like the Super Bowl. I mean, I do it too, but make no mistake, like I'm not a fucking journalist. I am a goddamn political commentator on Twitch who likes to play Rust. I'm a professional Rust streamer now. It's not supposed to be impartial, but like at least in theory, there's supposed to be like a little bit of objectivity or something resembling objectivity.
DoD official earlier today who tells me they are expecting to ramp up to 15,000 National Guardsmen from across the region coming into this area. You know, it was 1 week ago. There was no National Guard's presence until after the sun fell. It was more than an hour after individuals had already entered and invaded the U.S. Capitol that National Guard was eventually finally deployed onto the scene. And that is where now,
my dude has a
as these
sick
impeachment
mask.
Proceedings are going on, it's
That's like a hard 7 out of 10 mask. Out of all the masks I've seen,
last night, the Secretary of the Army gave his approval.
kind of drippy. Usually everyone's masks are fucking shit.
You have seen these guardsmen here throughout the day come and go here armed. We saw M4 rifles that were on these racks being loaded up onto cargo.
Trump wants to release a statement, but the White House is planning on releasing some sort of video statement from Trump this evening. Aides are concerned that the video will be blocked by YouTube if it's placed on the White House website, as Trump is still hamstrung by social media restrictions put in place. Trump could obviously make a statement in front of the White House press. The briefing room is up and running, but he wants to avoid that because he knows the questions that will be asked.
Obvious. This is supposed to be a celebration.
I like that.
New administration.
So that actually is a perfect example of how like Donald Trump's speech is not fucking being limited in any like meaningful capacity, right? So Donald Trump is the most televised individual on the planet currently, okay? He could just step outside and talk to every camera on the planet and immediately inform people of where he stands on certain issues. The irony here is that like these social media platforms banning Donald Trump is forcing him to reach or utilize the older methods of communicating that can communicate to a much larger platform regardless, that will still end up being housed on those platforms. So it's so weird. Like he has a literal press briefing room in his house that has full-time staff and like that has journalists around the clock 24/7 waiting, aching for the opportunity that they might be able to put a fucking microphone on Donald Trump so they can hear his perspective on an issue. And conservatives are like, oh my God, is freedom of speech being restricted? Like, if that's a restriction on freedom of speech, then like everything is a restriction on freedom of speech. Which if you ask conservatives, everything is literally a freedom of speech restriction. Like when fucking, patriot bots get banned or get purged. It's like me saying, Twitch is restricting my fucking freedom of speech because they don't put me on the main page every day. You know what I mean? I can't believe Twitch wants to limit the reach of patriots like myself by not putting me on the main page every goddamn day. I'll tell you what. This is 1964. This is 1987. George Orwell. That's what this is. Or MTG wearing a censored mask on national television. Yeah, that was here. You want to understand how fucking moronic conservative freedom of speech restrictions look like? This is the greatest picture that straight up perfectly fucking proves. Hold on. There's some more shit that's going on, but before I show you that, here, I gotta give you this one real quick. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is an unironic QAnon supporter, as you all know. I'm actually going to show you a fucking video of her before we even get started on the Marjorie Taylor Greene shit. But I'll give you a quick campaign ad that like very quickly shows you what she's like, okay? So this was one of her ads, first of all. This image was removed, by the way. This was the image that was on Facebook on one of her ads that was removed. She is unironically a QAnon supporter, believes in QAnon, like has like dialed it back a little bit, but literally was very openly talking about how QAnon and like, you know, Democrats are pedophiles, all that sort of stuff. George Soros. So let's look at one of her videos here. I love these fucking... She's openly racist, of course. Here, let's watch one. Here. This is a good one. And like, she's a fucking CrossFit mom who's like a real estate developer, okay? It's not like she's a fucking salt of the earth lady, you know, who's like building herself up by her bootstraps. Well, let's watch.
I'm Marjorie Greene, and I approve this ad. America's the greatest country in the world. We need conservatives in Washington that will keep it that way. I'm running to stop gun control. Open borders. The Green New Deal.
I got me some Tannerite. Hank, bring out the Tannerite. We're going shooting, brother. I'll shoot this Green New Deal.
And socialism.
It's how you know she's a pussy, by the way. Yo, put AOC on there. Huh? Why don't you put AOC? Shoot AOC's cardboard cutout. You won't. Pussy.
Democrats fight for their socialist agenda every single...
You know that was on the first take, too. You know that was on the first take, and then they were like, we can't do that. Marjorie, I don't think we can do that. I think you'll get a visit from the Secret Service. Democrats fight for their socialist agenda every single day.
I'll fight even harder to stop them. I'm Marjorie Greene, Republican for Congress. Save America, stop socialism.
So she won. She literally won, okay? It's fucking, this country is so broken. Anyway, so what I wanted to show you is this.
Speaker,
So guess, if you want to understand, like, the reason why I showed you Marjorie Taylor Greene, so you get a little bit of background, but the real reason why I wanted to show you this is because, so earlier today, she spoke in Congress.
I am against the impeachment effort by the Democrats. President
Wearing a fucking mask that says censored. As she's talking in Congress in perhaps one of the most televised public events. One of the most televised congressional proceedings. That is the perfect picture, okay? That is the perfect picture of how conservatives operate in the realm of free speech. Now, this, I'm going to show you another video. Now, this itself was not like, this itself was not all that interesting, but the documentary itself wasn't that great. But this was the best scene, okay? I need to show you this.
Didn't exactly take precautions, did
This was the only good, like, funny fucking joke. Wait, oh, here it is. Here.
silenced. And in the media,
Here. Like, this is straight up what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing and what conservatives do in general. And the documentary itself is like not that great. It's like fucking lib shit, mockumentary, sorry. It's like lib shit for the most part. But having said that, this part was actually funny because it's real. This is how conservatives operate.
Okay, I know this doesn't fit with your agenda, but this never happened.
Republicans claim social media is actively trying to suppress an unreasonable conservative agenda.
I'll just cut to the chase. Big tech's out to get conservatives. That's not a suspicion. That's not a hunch. That's a fact.
look,
The fact, which doesn't care about your feelings, is that online and in the media, conservative voices are being silenced. I've said this before. I said it on my YouTube channel. Conservative voices are being silenced. I said it on Joe Rogan. Conservative voices are being silenced. On the Jordan Peterson Kayak podcast. Conservative voices are being silenced. I said it on Tucker Carlson. And Tucker, we know conservative voices are being silenced. Twice, actually. Like I said last time, Tucker, conservative voices are being silenced.
That is exactly right.
And I said it in my New York Times bestseller. Conservative voices are being silenced. It's a point I have to make over and over because conservative voices are being silenced. In fact, you won't even use this footage.
Actually, we will.
Bob, we both know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, my name is James.
Whatever, Bob.
In a bomb.
So that is at the heart of conservative mentality. Okay, that's how they operate. They say conservative voices are being silenced from the bully pulpit. They say conservative voices are being silenced on Tucker Carlson's show, which is literally the fucking most like popular news broadcast in the country. Okay. That's from the mockumentary Death to 2020, which was, I mean, that was a really funny part because it's something I joke about all the fucking time. They've made money off of just like building outrage, manufacturing outrage around how conservatives are being silenced. Like, no, you're not. Shut the fuck up. You should be though. Holy shit. For your own sake, if we're being real. You hate vegans and you literally dehumanize Trump patriots by calling them hogs. PETA is right that Americans are too privileged. They're racist and you call all whites hogs. Vegans are right because you call every white guy a hog. Someone make a meme of tripped out HasanAbi looking at that mask. Just ignore everything she says and call her a hog like you always do. Vegans sometimes do deserve less. I'll say it. This is one of those times. This vegan deserves less rights than other people. What is this? What is this? Like, you're gonna get upset that I am likening? You fucking serious? You take this vegan soy bait, but not mine? My man is BLM, but not black reporters. Wow, Hasan. This guy sounds like a Jordan Clipper knockoff. Wait, what? Good thing Trump. Will you admit Trump is better than Bernie because winner Trump made drugs cheap and Bernie's loser kicked W? Oh, he's just the fucking... Oh, he's a troll. My dog is crying. Earthquakes. Or wait, is he a vegan Trump supporter? Zero viewer Andy, 28 in the chat. I'm a big fan, but you need catharsis. Shoot me to the moon. What? Fuck you, dude. You can't just... You're getting timed out. You can't just like... That's so weird. I can't even tell if that's like bait or not. I still think he's like trying to get out of it by saying Lala was just baiting.
President Trump has held over 600 rallies in the last 4 years.
Fucking vegan crisis actors. Vegan crisis actors in my chat. Dude.
None of them
Fake
included
vegans.
assaulting police, destroying businesses, or burning down cities. Democrats have spent all this time endorsing and enabling violent riots that left billions in property damage and 47 dead across the United States. Democrats are on record supporting violence when it serves their cause, in their own words, on social media.
Wait, what is this? What is this? What do you guys think this is?
Prove this ad. World. We need conservatives in Washington that will keep it that way. I'm running to stop gun control.
That's her ad. Like that's literally her ad. Like, I didn't find this. I didn't edit it myself. I didn't make it up. Like, this is the ad that she ran with. Like, Republicans are being silenced, and also conservative voices are being silenced, and also on top of that, Republicans are the non-violent ones, despite the fact that a Republican insurrection that I'm on board with ended up with 5 people dying.
On interviews and on fundraising platforms, act blue. Democrats support defunding the police when it's someone else's city, someone else's home, and someone else's business. Democrats will take away everyone's guns just as long as they have guards with guns. Democrats' impeachment of President Trump today has now set the standard that they should be removed for their support of violence against the American people.
Usually, I love ratioing. Yeah, whatever. Shut up, dumbass. Fuck you. Okay. She's also like, listen, she is not a short queen. I will tell you that. I love my short kings and my short queens and my short MBs, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is literally a womanlet standing at approximately 1.5 AR-15's length. Okay? And it shows. Okay, so speaking of manlets. So normally I am a big fan of ratioing Ben Shapiro, but and usually because of you guys who fucking help me do that, I'm able to often ratio Ben Shapiro, but today someone else took that mantle. So do regular humans actually buy zip ties? Have you ever bought a zip tie? If so, what did you use it for? Literally every regular human I know owns zip ties. It's like Pauline Kael on steroids, right? Ben Shapiro says that. And I responded with, Ben, like, flex cuffs are not used for cable management. Flex cuffs are not used for fucking cable management, you bi-coastal elitist, okay? But Mike Drucker fucking destroyed him. Ben, usually I joke, but I'm going to come at this honestly. There's a big difference between zip ties being carried by paramilitary forces invading the Capitol and zip ties being carried by your wife so she can tie you to a chair and make you watch her have sex with other men. I've never... I've actually never seen that. I've never seen someone get eviscerated this way. Like, this might be terms of service violation. Because this is a murder. Like, this is a literal murder that took place. And, it's very good. It's very, very good. It gets the point across. So, Siggy Flicker, who is from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Why am I talking about this? You'll see in a second. I didn't even know what that was. I had to click on the fucking hashtag to understand what that is. Is now denying she was at the Capitol coup, saying she's been in Florida. But this video from her Insta from last Wednesday, flight to Washington. She might have posted someone else's video. There were plenty of other people on that plane. I don't know. But once again, I want to remind you that, like, Trump supporters aren't exactly all salt of the earth, union plumbers and union electricians. Doesn't mean that there aren't union plumbers and union electricians that are Trump supporters and hogs. Okay? But there are certainly plenty. And this also corresponds to the percentage of people who make more than $100,000 a year that vote Republican over Democrat. But there's certainly more rich people that vote Republican and support Donald Trump than poor people. Okay? Or not poor, more rich people than poor people. Of course, there's more poor people overall, but there's more rich people that support Donald Trump than support the Democratic Party. So just remember that. I did not say poop. Oh my God. I meant poor people. I don't know how I have 1 million followers on this platform. A platform that cares more about me missaying things than the actual political commentary. Like, I don't know how this happened. I literally don't know. Rumor said poop. It's because you're so fucking hot. Thanks. That's definitely Michael. Thanks, Chapo Trap House. Check out what the inside of Capitol looks like now. Oh, yeah. No, we looked at this earlier. It's fucking crazy out there, dude. Thousands of National Guard troops have assembled the U.S. Capitol 1 week after the deadly riot. It's just chat. I don't know why they like roasting you any chance they have. I need more of the Saikuno style supportive audience. That's what I need. Ellis have removed your base critique clip for politics. What? What base critique clip? Hank, can you please say, I'm Hank Pecker, and I approve this message. Pecker Pack has found some compromising info on Mr. Ballsworth and is ready to make some attack ads to stop socialism. Oh, is Mr. Ballsworth already... Is he campaigning already? Did he start his goddamn campaigning? Oh, no. I'll tell you what. So, today, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to, of course, go back to playing Rust in a little bit. And Rust is really good. It's like adult Minecraft with dicks and shit. And I wanted to make it even more political for the political Andes, the political Peters that normally are like, oh my God, you're playing video games like whatever. The people that leave immediately. My character's name is Hank Pecker in this role-playing universe. And I'm a libertarian who is actually having a change of heart. And I originally started off as a dirty ANCAP who was thieving and lying and conniving. I still do love me some guns and love shooting them. I'm a shooting range. I own a shooting range. But since then I've turned it over a new leaf, and I no longer, since I've gotten such charity and kindness from others, I've become more of a nicer person, which even included me giving an L96 to Saikuno for free, one of the greatest guns in the entire game. And I gave it to him because, you know, there's a little bit of character development that occurred there. And I'm passing on Sylvanus' compassionate kindness down to others. But Ludwig just called Pecker a commie bastard. I ain't no commie. Okay. Well, I'm going to go into the world, into that universe soon. But we're waiting on Pelosi to speak. Once she does, I'll go in there.
That the 10 Republicans made who voted in favor
Let's see how many people left right before I said I'm going to be playing a little bit of Rust soon.
If there's one through line
while
that
we're waiting on Pelosi
and
to
her
speak, I got to go pee.
They want to follow, and they certainly don't need my advice. It's that a number of these Republicans talk about the president's conduct during the attack, not before, not the comments leading up to it, but during the attack, and even afterwards as being reasons why they voted to impeach. Tom Rice, Republican from South Carolina, a district that Donald Trump won by 19 points, probably the most surprising of those Republicans to vote in favor of impeachment. He's somebody who supported the electoral challenges, right? I mean, this is a pro-Trump guy. said that the president's refusal to engage during the attack, and even his comments yesterday at the wall saying that the way he handled all of this was perfect, were big parts of the reason why he voted to convict. And so I think that's the kind of thing that Pelosi and the managers can look at as a blueprint, that if you don't want to get bogged down in a debate about whether, incitement of political speech is protected and on and on and on, you can talk about that the president did nothing to lift a finger to save lives during, and showed no contrition and no willingness to acknowledge the danger afterwards. That is apparently, we're learning now, a proven way to get Republicans to support this article of impeachment.
Well, and I want to read 2 examples of that. So this is from Republican Congressman Dan Newhouse, who said, first, this was notable to me, Garrett. He said that others, including myself, are responsible for not speaking out sooner before the president misinformed and inflamed a violent mob who tore down the American flag and brutally beat Capitol Police officers. He says last week there was a domestic threat at the door of the Capitol and he did nothing to stop it. That's him speaking to what you're talking about, Trump's conduct while it was ongoing. Here's Republican Congressman Meyer, and if I said that wrong, you can correct me, but he says this, quote,
No, you got it.
We saw profiles encouraged during the assault on the Capitol, police officers badly outnumbered, putting their lives on the line, members of Congress barricading doors and caring for colleagues, a vice president who fearlessly remained in the Capitol and refused to bow to the mob. There was no such courage from the president, who betrayed and misled millions with claims of a, quote, stolen election, and encouraged loyalists that, quote, if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore, end quote. It seems like the Republicans are pointing the Senate to the evidence they thought most bolstered their votes today to impeach Donald Trump.
I think that's exactly right, and that is one of the
while we wait
huge
for
differences
Nancy
between
Pelosi,
this Senate impeachment trial and the last.
While we wait for Nancy Pelosi, let's look at LSF just to get updated on the world, the news of the real world. Leak parlor vid of the Q Shaman before the Capitol raid. Wait, what? Really? Oh, shit.
How did you get what? How did you get out? Of the Senate? Yeah. The cops walked out with me. How did you get what? How did you get out? Of the Senate? Yeah. The cops walked out with me. They just let you go? Yeah. And what's your message to everybody now? Like, what are you yelling at? Oh, Donald Trump asked everybody to go home. He just put out a tweet. It's a minute long. He asked everybody to go home. Why do you think so?
These guys are like actually fucking stands, dude. I mean, there is no other way. Like, they wait for Donald Trump to say something. They have Donald Trump's like notifications on, I assume, which you all should too, on both Instagram and Twitter for me. But they have his they have his Twitter notifications on. He tweets out, they'll like go home, and they go home. It's wild.
Because, dude, we won the fucking day. My dad said
Well, I mean, they had. Sorry, they used to. They can't anymore for obvious reasons.
Won. How did we win? Well, we won by sending a message to the senators and the congressmen. We won by sending a message to Pence, okay, that if they don't do as it is their oath to do, if they don't uphold the Constitution, then we will remove them from office one way or another. Okay. This guy is.
They don't uphold the Constitution. Literally unconstitutional. What you're doing is unconstitutional. They're so stupid, man. I can't even. How do you have a conversation with this guy?
Recording you, he's not on our side. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
I thought you assumed that.
I'm fine with being
okay,
recorded.
Cool. Anything else?
All I can say is we won the fucking day. Donald Trump is still our president.
I do have one more question. There's a lot of people that doubt that you were just able to just go in there and come out. Like, what do you have to say to them that doubt that you just walked out?
Well, a lot of people doubted a lot of prophets, saints, and sages. A lot of people doubted Christ, you know? So all I can say to those people is doubters, haters can hate. I don't give a shit.
Fuck the doubters,
okay,
he's right.
So you just walked out, right?
I just fucking walked out.
Okay,
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Fuck the doubters! Okay, all jokes aside, he did not know, Bebela, he did not know that he was just not going to be able to just walk out. What I find really strange is, like, dog, you're like a QAnon shaman. What do you mean by like Christ? Doesn't he have like runes and shit tatted on him? Like the whole point of being a Viking is that you're not Christian. You're literally anti-Christian or a pagan. Like you're a pagan. The whole point is like if you're that into fucking being Nordic, then you have to be pagan. You literally cannot be Christian. Okay? Which blows my mind that he's like, I love Christ, I love organic food, and I'm also a Viking. Like, it's just so crazy. Yeah, fail RP. Actually, fail RP, -1, fail RP. AOC CNN versus Trump supporter new Joe Rogan while we wait for Pelosi. No, I didn't, and I don't even want to wait for Pelosi. I feel like she's fucking, her speech is gonna be boring as shit, regardless. I don't know what's going on. The triangles are Nazi shit. A lot of the runes have been appropriated by Nazis. Alex Jones coming in hot with no holdback.
Consider all possibilities. I'm not against sending these people to Gitmo, and that may sound extreme. These are domestic terrorists who attacked our own republic. They should be treated the same way we treat Al Qaeda.
It's her father that famously funded Al Qaeda, was photographed with the heads of them in Al Nusra in Syria just 5 years ago. Her father is now in hell.
We need to consider.
Do you guys understand why okay. Do you understand why I love Alex Jones? Like, he's a psycho and he deserved to get fucking deplatformed. But like, I mean, I take a lot of notes from this motherfucker, okay? We have a very similar style of content. Like, obviously, he's out of his goddamn mind, and he says insane shit, and I don't do that. Unless you ask neoliberals, I'm also crazy. But like, he is remarkably entertaining. Like, that segment is every segment that I do.
The heads of them in Al Nusra.
Well, actually, the takes about John McCain are also very similar to mine, too. But
in Syria just 5 years ago. Her father is now in hell.
I mean, he's talking about John McCain being in hell with Ecstasy of Gold playing in the background. It's like one of my favorite fucking songs that I use in my broadcast all the goddamn time. Like, come on, dude. But speaking of which, speaking of Ecstasy of Gold, speaking of Ecstasy of Gold, ladies and gentlemen, do you hear the sounds? The sirens, the bells. It's actually ad time right now. Debated. 1 minute ad is running. If you'd like to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for free with a Twitch Prime or for $5 or use, a VPN or some shit. But here it is. Here's the ad. Anyway, LSF has gold. Destiny responds to a Twitch streamer that insulted him. Skipping that. XQ exposes Nick for smoking weed.
What the fuck is this? XQC exposes NMP law for smoking weed. What is this, dudes? What is this?
Okay, that's XQC. Okay, maybe it's not XQC. Does he know how to do laundry? I doubt that he's the type of dude that does laundry.
Are you hotboxing the fucking dryer? Bro, I can't get no fucking privacy, bro. I swear to God. When I want to smoke by myself, I can't smoke by myself. This is where all the fucking... What? Bro, put this shit back up.
Bro, what the fuck was that? This video has been up.
Hold on. White House statement. Oh, boys! Donald Trump released the video. Let's take a look at what he had to say. 5 minutes. Oh, thank God. Oh, he's giving us all the content. Oh, it's so much content. Oh, fuck me. Okay, all the 4K, 5K people that left because they thought that I was going to... Because they thought that I was going to play Rust. Because I even mentioned Rust. get fucked. You understand me? Get fucked. Hope they don't come back. It's gonna be a deep fake. I wonder if it's gonna be okay. Should we do a gamba real quick? It just came out. Do a gamba real quick. Do a gamba real quick. Do it quick, quick, quick before they watch it. Before they watch it. Fuck. He'll definitely mention witch hunt. It has to be something harder than that. Fuck. I don't know. People are already watching it probably. It just came out. Okay.
My fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the troubling events of the past week.
Mention Liz Cheney.
As I have said, the incursion of the U.S. Capitol struck at the very heart of our republic. It angered and appalled millions of Americans across the political spectrum. I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week. Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country and no place in our movement. Making America great again has always been about defending the rule of law, supporting the men and women of law enforcement, and upholding our nation's most sacred traditions and values. Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag. No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans. If you do any of these things, you are not supporting our movement, you are attacking it, and you are attacking our country. We cannot tolerate it. Tragically, over the course of the past year, made so difficult because of COVID-19, we have seen political violence spiral out of control. We have seen too many riots, too many mobs, too many acts of intimidation and destruction. It must stop. Whether you are on the right or on the left, a Democrat or a Republican, there is never a justification for violence. No excuses, no exceptions. America is a nation of laws. Those who engaged in the attacks last week will be brought to justice. Now I am asking everyone who has ever believed in our agenda to be thinking of ways to ease tensions, calm tempers, and help to
Brother, it's fake. I know it's fake. You understand me? Look at the way his neck is protruding. That's not Trump's nussy. That's a different kind of nussy. It's fake, brother. It's QAnon. QAnon told me. No. No, he can't be this cucked as my dear leader. That's my dear leader. He can't be this cucked. No, it's Antifa.
Promote peace in our country.
George Orwell, 1967.
There has been reporting that additional demonstrations are being planned in the coming days, both here in Washington and across the country. I have been briefed by the U.S. Secret Service on the potential threats. Every American deserves to have their voice heard in a respectful and peaceful way.
Look at his shoulders.
That is your First Amendment right. But I cannot emphasize that there must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind.
Oh, the most cucked president. Donald Trump is now not only just the most impeached president, he's also the most cucked president, dude. Oh, num 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 num. Give it to me. Num 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 num. And his supporters even more so. Oh, I fucking love this. Oh, I this is like injected into my veins, dude. I'm mainlining on this dude. He's literally telling his fucking rabid fan base, some of his most rabid fan base, that he himself is saying, like, you are not my fan. Like, you are not a stan. You are bad. He said he cannot emphasize. He misspoke. The Q people will eat this shit up. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Everyone must follow our laws and obey the instructions of law enforcement. I have directed federal agencies to use all necessary resources to maintain order. In Washington, D.C., we are bringing in thousands of National Guard members to secure the city and ensure that a transition can occur safely and without incident. Like all of you, I was shocked and deeply saddened by the calamity at the Capitol last week. I want to thank the hundreds of millions of incredible American citizens who have responded to this moment with calm, moderation, and grace. We will get through this.
Oh, we're transitioning, huh? Well, I thought you won the race. You were saying until recently that you had won the race. Now we're doing a peaceful transition? Wow, that's so weird. We should do it in a calm way. Whoa now. Hold on now. Now, I may have robbed a bank. But what we must do going forward is peacefully give the money back and you no longer, throw me in jail, because if you throw me in jail and if I get accountability, then that's going to be divisive. And right now we need to do unification.
This challenge.
You think he's doing this because he's legitimately scared? You think he's doing this because he's legitimately scared that, like, he's going to get impeached again? Or do you think he's doing this because he wants his Twitter back? I think he's afraid of the Senate conviction, which will stop him from running again. Because he wants to run in the next election. I think Republicans right now are trying to make the calculation, like, do we continue using Trump despite the fact that he's narcissistic and refuses to learn his lessons, and we can't use him as like a reliable tool to galvanize the base of supporters he's cultivated? Or do we just fucking cast him out and cut him out and excise him? Mitch McConnell very clearly is on board with, like, fucking Donald Trump over. But Lindsey Graham and some other cucks in the Senate are like, no, I think we should keep him. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter what Lindsey Graham has to say regardless, but I would, that's the mental calculation that Republicans are making right now.
Just like we always do. I also want to say a few words about the unprecedented assault on free speech we have seen in recent days. These are tense and difficult times. The efforts to censor, cancel, and blacklist our fellow citizens are wrong, and they are dangerous. What is needed now is for us to listen to one another, not to silence one another. All of us can choose.
Oh my God, it's literally Twitter. Never mind. I thought maybe he was, like, worried about getting impeached and then getting convicted in the Senate and not being able to run again. No, this is all about Twitter. He's literally talking about getting his Twitter back. Oh my God. He's only doing this so he can get his Twitter back. Oh my fucking God, dude. That is insane. Like, he didn't mention witch hunt. I mean, he might still, but he did not mention witch hunt. This is oh my God.
By our actions to rise above the rancor and find common ground and shared purpose. We must focus on advancing the interests of the whole nation, delivering the miracle vaccines, defeating the pandemic, rebuilding the economy, protecting our national security, and upholding the rule of law. Today, I am calling on all Americans to overcome the passions of the moment and join together as one American people. Let us choose to move forward united for the good of our families, our communities, and our country. Thank you. God bless you.
Wait, what did he say? I'm going to run this part back.
Other, not to silence one another. All of us can choose by our actions to rise above the rancor and find common ground and shared purpose. We must focus on advancing the interests of the whole nation, delivering the miracle vaccines, defeating the pandemic, rebuilding the economy, protecting our national security, and upholding the rule of law. Today, I am calling on all Americans to overcome the passions of the moment and join together as one American people. Let us choose to move forward united for the good of our families, our communities, and our country. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
I gotta take the fucking hat off for this one, boys. This is the most cucked man in America. You are looking at him. You are looking at him, dude. I like that he's calling for unity now. Like, this is a good time to call for unity. I mean, when Democrats say this shit, it's fake too and stupid too. Or like, Donald Trump didn't even care to do the fake stupid shit. And now he's trying to do the fake stupid shit exclusively so he can get his Twitter back. This is great, dude. This is fucking awesome. Now, the real question is, will the Republicans use this to say, well, he's sorry. Come on. He said he's sorry. We need to unite the country. We can't impeach him. That's far too long. You're going far. You're going too far. Like, are they going to do that? Or are they going to actually still be like, no, we need to fucking cut this dude out and like literally try to make sure that he has no say in the Republican Party in the future? We can, you know, lasso the hogs back and you know, pull them in back to the Republican Party and not just like turn them into Trump stands as they did. He's sending a code with his hand moves to the Proud Boys, copium. Yeah, we looked at some of the copium quickly, and everyone stay home. It's going to get good. Get some popcorn ready and pray peds. Violent protesters equals Antifa. Changed my mind. I would love to hear him without a filter. At this point, what are we hoping for? The happening. If it doesn't happen, then we start organizing on the 20th. Bad actors are Antifa, but I doubt we win the information war with that one. FEMA to arrest everyone at Joe's inauguration. Dems fuck kids. 1/19/21 National Popcorn Day. Not sure it'll get good, but props to your enthusiasm, Pede. What's Pede? What does that mean? Before Abraham was, I am. Everyone remember who was in control. Violent protest equals Antifa. Well, the Q Shaman and the main dude wearing the Q shirt, brother, which people here have met and testified they're patriots, certainly aren't Antifa. Can't speak for the rest. Peds are centipedes. You like calling them? Oh my God, QAnon and like Trump supporters have moved away from. They moved away from fucking. Wait, is it centipede or Trumpede? Like the. A magapede? Because they're nimble navigators. They call themselves that since 2016. I didn't know that. I thought they called themselves bakers. Because they follow breadcrumbs. Like the QAnon people call themselves bakers because they follow breadcrumbs. Even though a baker is not supposed to fucking follow breadcrumbs and instead like bake shit instead. No one says bakers? Yes, they did. QAnon originally fucking called themselves like bakers and following it's Magapede. I don't know what chat's talking about. It's not Q, it's from before that. There's no way people believe in QAnon. Let me tell you something, my friend. Let me tell you something, my friend. You are about to be very surprised to find out exactly how many people believe QAnon. Like, not only do people... Oh, man. Imagine living in that world. Fuck. That was me like 3 years ago, where I thought like, this is the most psychotic conspiracy ever. I'm fascinated. Let me start watching what they do. I went on the Q Anonymous podcast even, and we talked about our small shared interest in this like growing, but still completely psychopathic conspiracy theory. That was, I believe in like what, 2017 or 2018 when I did that. Since then, we have a QAnon supporter. Since then, a QAnon supporter, Marjorie Taylor Greene. 50 of them ran for Congress. One of them won. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a literal QAnon supporter, is in Congress. Like, there is a Q believer that is currently in Congress right now. She wore a censored mask earlier today. Or is it 2? Lauren Boebert is QAnon too? Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, so good. So QAnoners are just huge fans of Hansel and Gretel? No. They're huge fans of conspiracy theories in which they believe that fucking people are following the breadcrumbs of a Reddit. The breadcrumbs dropped by someone with a Q level security clearance. It's fake. It's like a QAnon. It's a 4chan meme that turned into like a legit thing. But they believe that every Democrat's a pedophile and that that everyone who opposes Donald Trump is a pedophile, basically. And by that I mean they are brave. They are truth tellers. They are victims of divorce court. Much like another man who's a brave truth-telling patriot who loves guns, God, and country. And that name is Hank Pecker. Hank Pecker, folks. I am a man of God. I love my country and I love my guns. And today, Hank Pecker will run for the mayoral office position in Rustopia. I will whip the police force into shape. I will make sure that we have no taxes whatsoever, and never will we have taxes. I, Hank Pecker, swear on this, on the Bible, and on the blood God. Vote for me for Rustopia mayor. We will charge the courthouse if I lose.